Good evening and welcome to this episode 3 of series 2 of the Sullen Art Podcast. Tonight we are joined by our first full lineup of a band in total, which is Only Fools and Corpses. Gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
And with me tonight are my usual hosts, Chris.
Yes.
Iqbal.
Good evening.
And myself. So, Only Fools and Corpses. Evening, lads.
Evening.
How's it going?
Yeah, it's all right. How's it going?
Not too bad. So I think the best thing to do, and I hate to sort of pigeonhole you into describing what genre you do, but how would you, I don't even say how would you describe your sound, because that's equally as fatuous.
I described them once, but I'll let them do it first and I'll tell you what I feel.
I tell you what, boys, start with brief introductions if you want to.
I'm Dan. I play bass.
I'm Cam. I yell and play guitar.
I'm Jack, I play the drums.
Jack, could you come a little bit forward, please, to the mic? Sorry, man,
Sure.
I feel like I'm Joe Roganing you. So, you guys are based where, if you don't mind me asking?
Based between Swansea and Newport.
Okay, how long has the band been going?
Well, in some form, I guess it's been going for
Nearly 2 years.
nearly
Probably
2
by
years,
now.
yeah. And then we got Dan in like a year and a half ago. Me and Dan had played in bands when we were younger, when we were teenagers and stuff. And then we were doing it as like a two-piece. Originally it was bass and drums.
Yeah.
And then we did guitar and drums, and then
We sort of started jamming in my bedroom. I had an electric drum kit, and Cam would come over and bring his guitar, plug it into my computer speakers. And it sounded awful, but we were having fun. Wrote a few songs, and we showed them to Dan one day, and Dan was in straight from the bat, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, I mean, your influences, would it be safe to say it's sort of noise rock stuff like what we were discussing it in the car, and stuff like Unsane and...
Well, I don't know. I mean, there's certainly a Melvins element to it.
I love the Melvins personally. Yeah, I do like Jesus Lizard are another big one for me.
Yeah, totally, man, yeah. I described you once, someone never heard you and said what they like, and I said, I think it was the first time I'd seen you, I said... Only off that one gig, it sounds like my war era Black Flag playing mid-90s noise rock.
That's
how I interpreted your music.
That's a very, very big compliment, I'd say.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say it otherwise. But no, it was really like I've said to you before, boys, and I've seen the name, and I kept coming up somehow on my YouTube thing, and recommended, and I thought, let's give it a go, and it was great, and I text Lloyd, in Mines, and check him out, and then first thing we did was get you on, try to book you on that show.
That was pretty much
Then
a year
you had a
ago
stunt show a week before, or a day before.
Yeah, early February that was.
Yeah.
Nearly a year ago.
I know, that's shockingly quick. And then Lloyd and myself came to see you in the bunkhouse.
Yeah.
And it was your first show, and it was, like I've said to Simon and it was refreshing. Like I said, people of your age to play the music you do, it sounds like you should be 10 years older than you are in terms of, not technicality, but just the influence.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anyone, I can't think of any bands my age who have done a cover of Black Flag. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you boys pulled out Six Pack, and you singing that chorus, Dan, is brilliant. But that's how I interpreted Only Fools and Corpses anyway. And not to blow smoke up your ass, but I really enjoy it, boys. I really enjoy the...
Thank you very much.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
But there's something raw about it. It's not... I don't think there's anything pretentious about it. There's no dancing around in terms of... Like you dance, like, but it's natural. It's a reaction to the music that's coming out.
Yeah.
Like I react to the music that's coming out. But I don't perceive anything fake from the music. It's raw, and you definitely have the best pedal board I've ever seen. Yes, Dan.
It's small.
Yeah. If anyone knows what a pedal board, like I cut down. I had a distortion and delay, but now the way we're going and bringing in more and more again.
Yeah, well, I can imagine with you guys.
Yeah.
It kind of warrants it, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But then I was like, lovely tone in your guitar, and then what are you using? Oh, this Boss tuner.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Which is since broken, so it's
Rest in peace.
Yes.
Sorry for your loss, man.
Fuck that thing.
How the hell did you kill a TU2 or a TU3?
I can guess.
Those who aren't familiar with what we're going to be talking about, these things are pretty much, they're like Tonka toys. They're pretty much indestructible. Well, not indestructible, but how did you break a TU2?
Then you meet Cam.
I'd had it since we had an old band Iota back in school, and I'd had that all the way through. I was like 15, so it was coming up on like almost 10 years old. Just practice, man. My amp, I had a Marshall like solid state thing, which has since set on fire at a show, which I'll talk about as well.
Is that like an MG something or other that's gone?
MG.
Yeah.
I don't even know what it was because I got it. I traded it. Stories within stories, man.
Beautiful.
I had an old PA kit from my time in Iota, and I used to work with a guy who support your local scene. The one song that we have online is about terrible musician guy that not good. I traded him for this massive amp for this PA kit because he wanted to pursue a
Solo
acoustic
career.
solo acoustic career. I was like, oh, excellent. I said a banging trade. Used it at a few shows, and then it set on fire in this hardcore festival we played at Neath as soon as I plugged it in. But before that, I'd been playing at my practices. I was just getting really frustrated, so I hammered my tuner because I thought it was my tuner. I just booted it and bent the pins inside of it, and the screen as well went, which is a really stupid thing to do. I do take care of my possessions.
So you don't even have a tuner now?
I do. I got a £20 one from Amazon.
You got a what from Amazon?
It's £20. It was 20.
Is it like a Behringer or something like that?
or
Or
worse than that? Yeah, it's crap.
that's all you're allowed, gear-wise. You
Just
have a
like this little
Behringer
plastic.
distortion, they're fairly cheap to pick up second-hand. Anybody interested in a TU2 or a TU3? £40 to £60. We don't have any in stock at the moment, but you can find them on Revo. What did you get as a replacement?
I went to I got on eBay because I hadn't used that before. I thought time to give it a go. Some old crust in Grangetown was selling some PV Valve King.
Very good amplifier, loud as hell.
It was insane. I got to his house and I couldn't get through his front door because of all the fucking amps he had like stacked up by the side of it. And he was some old skinhead guy, and I was like, how's it going, man? And he like got this like massively out of tune SG off the wall and like plugged this thing in. Still smoking his fag, like instantly was stank. It was awesome though. He was sound, and he said he was in I can't remember the name of the band, but he was like in the biggest anti-fascist oi band around at the minute. He was going to Canada in the new year or something like that. So I was like, okay, but I was like the biggest anti-fascist.
He wasn't in Crass.
He's not in Crass now. But like as soon as
It
he
wasn't
said
Penny Rambo. Yeah.
as soon as he said oi, I was like, there can't be much demand for oi. Like now, I can't imagine the oi scene is huge. Not that I've ever been into
Underground,
it.
isn't it, man?
Yeah,
Underground.
always
Is it still
on
going?
there, yeah.
Is it? Is oi about?
This comes as an interesting point to sort of do a segue, because when Chris and I were growing up, because we're relatively the same age, there was no rallying point for. There was a rallying point for music, so you would always have these scenes occurring. So like grunge was a thing, and then now with you guys, I guess it sounds really disparaging to go your generation, but when you're saying is always still a thing, there is a thing out there for every genre and scene of music. It doesn't die; it just sort of festers as an undercurrent, comes up and comes down. Sure. So the scene as a whole,
and I think that's happening with you boys.
Do you think?
Yeah, because, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. We grew up listening to bands like Neurosis, I Hate God, Melvins, Crowbar, Soylent Green, all those bands who influence us in some way or another. Kaya, Sleep and whatnot. And when we were that age playing that music, there wasn't anyone else doing it. And we were the young ones who picked that up and do it today. And I think that's what's happened with you boys. At your age, there's not anyone playing stuff, listening to Melvins, noise rock, and stuff I see you put up on Instagram that you're listening to or whatever. And now you are that band, and you can't see it because you are that band that are picking up underground influences. Because that's where we were 15 years ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
No, totally.
Yeah,
So
no,
when you talk
yeah,
about
I get
scenes,
it.
it's like in Swansea, there was no one playing like the Neurosis kind of thing like we were.
you couldn't
know?
buy
There's
it.
still not.
You
couldn't.
practically couldn't buy it. I mean, there was there was one point there was Our Price, HMV, Musicarium,
Derek's,
More Music, Derek's, Sullivan's. But you'd have been lucky. The only place you could probably pick it up would have been Musicarium. Julian, the guy,
Sullivan's was quite cool as well.
So yeah. Sullivan's was. They did have things fleeting time from time to time, like a black fat, like I don't know, Damage or something would be in there, but then it would be gone like that. That's it. It's gone.
So like
Someone's seen it.
Musicarium, was it Swansea Market?
Yeah.
When you went from the opposite Burger King, the entrance opposite Burger King.
Yeah.
On your right, past the fruit, there's a pet shop. It used to be a pet with a yellow sign. Something else.
Yeah.
That was Musicarium.
Oh, okay.
It was about as big as this room.
Yeah.
And I remember going in there on countless days and spending 3 hours in a room as big as...
I can remember going to Haverfordwest Market, indoor market, and going to this like tape, weird little tape place. I can't remember, but I saw all these like, I saw a little Melvins tape.
Oh, well.
I didn't get it at the time.
Oh, shame on
Very
you.
stupid, very stupid. Yeah, living with regret about that. But yeah, it was just really cool to see this like tape place just in the middle of Haverfordwest where you'd expect no scene to be there whatsoever. How old was I?
Yeah.
16, 17 probably.
Old enough to know.
The fact that I can still remember it is, yeah.
Because there's one thing because we've done shows together and I've seen you at other gigs and stuff. We've always had a chat and a drink, and it's never been the right place. So one of the reasons I'm glad I got you on here today was that we can have this chat without blaring noise in the background.
Yeah.
But it's like I say, those influences that influenced me, I could see influencing you boys. And how do you get into that then? How did you end up listening to these influences?
For me, at least, a lot of it was hanging out with Cam.
Right.
Because before that, I didn't really listen to a lot of music. I really loved Coldplay back in the day. Yeah.
Well, Cold Rush of Blood to the Head's actually quite well put together from a
Edit
production.
that out.
No, I'm not, because it's the truth. From a production standpoint, it's actually quite well. It's good songwriting, but it is Coldplay. And
yeah, it is Coldplay. Yeah. And then you were listening to a lot of bands like Ruben and stuff at the time, weren't you?
I remember Ruben.
I loved Ruben. That's a Ruben tattoo.
Yeah.
That lyric there. It's from the last song in the last album. I loved Ruben. I still love him, but I'm more into stranger stuff now, I guess. I mean, like Ruben.
What's your interpretation of stranger stuff?
Stuff that, I don't know. I could talk about Ruben for hours and the reasons why I'm not so much into it anymore, because the guy, Jamie Lemon's doing his own thing now. And it's...
well, that was kind of like the tail end of, like, when I say emo, I mean the proper Fugazi sort of emo. So it's like, Ides of March, Rites of Spring. Not Ides, Rites of Spring, sorry. Ides of March. There is a band, I'm pretty sure that is a band. And Blue Tip and stuff like that. So I can see where that came in. But yeah, Ruben, they're pretty good, man. Their stuff's hard to get hold of as well now.
I'm lucky to own a few of the things. I got the reissues on vinyl and stuff.
So you fans of McCluskey then as well at the same time?
Me and Dan, I like McCluskey more. Dan
I'm not very
is
well
Future of the
versed
Left.
on McCluskey, but I do enjoy Future of the Left a lot.
Yeah.
Well, see, like that was a moment for me in 2004 because I was introduced to McCluskey. Somebody introduced me to the track No Covers, which was a B-side, which is the one, if I can't kill Kenny, then I can't do anything right, which the visceralness of it. And the guy who introduced me to them was like, do you like Jello Biafra? Yeah, so we'll check out Falco. It's like a Welsh Biafra.
Yeah.
And then, I consumed everything, and pretty much the same with Future of the Left. And Falco's also doing his side thing, which is Christian Fitness, which is actually pretty funny.
Oh, yeah, I've listened to Christian.
It's good. And he's prolific, to give him his due. But that's McCluskey.
Falco's attitude more than anything is what I like, and something that I don't want to say like you emulate or whatever, because I don't think I'm anywhere near as good as what Falco is at what he does.
No, but you take influence from him.
Take influence from him. I read about him. There was some girl, I can't remember who they were supporting, Future of the Left, but they were opening up. And there was a girl sat in the front row apparently, and she was just looking miserable the whole set and like booing between songs and for the main band to come on.
Don't do that to Falco.
Apparently he said something like, I hope you're as miserable as this as your mother's going to be on your wedding day, or something like that to her, and it like broke her up apparently. But I just like his visceral meanness. This awesome.
Well, there's for anybody who wants to listen to Falco's Visceral Lust, there is a live album called "The Night I Saved Her from Vampires." I think that's the title. I might be paraphrasing, and there's some brilliant Falcoisms in there from Future to the Left, where he just goes at it. He's fantastic. But yeah, so Future to the Left. What about Million Dead and stuff like that?
I
Yes,
absolutely loved Million Dead.
Yeah.
Would you say Million Dead as sort of post-hardcore kind of stuff? Or do you think it sits away towards emo-y?
No, I'd say they're more post-hardcore myself, as far as I hear it.
Yeah.
Emo, I mean, I really did like them, but the older I've got, the more I've not enjoyed Frank Turner's lyrics in it, because it feels a bit like, oh, I've read more books than you, like all the references and stuff like that. It's like, okay, man, all right, relax. But I still like Million Dead.
But I mean, that's a delicate balance when you're citing other things as an influence within, say, music. Probably not everybody's cup of tea, but I think a great example of a noise rock album that broke everything in 1994, 95, Holy Bible, because when you look into that by the Manic Street Preachers, that's littered with lots of references to, I hate to say high art or high culture, but it is. But it's so horrendous to listen to at the same time.
Noise rock?
In places, Faster is, I would say that. And oh God, if white America told the truth, its world would fall apart. And Yes, it's just, I mean, the song Yes is about a transsexual prostitute. I mean, the subject matter is just as is as not out there, but a band that's just come off tour with Bon Jovi, with Gold Against the Soul, to then go into the smallest studio in Cardiff. I can't remember who it was in Cardiff. And it's just this really closed-in sound third album, and everyone always goes, it's the difficult third album. Signed to Sony, huge record label. I mean, it was a huge gamble, but it completely smashed it. But I understand what you're saying with the whole Frank Turner things, but
I don't want to be misconstrued as anti-intellectualism or whatever lyrics. I just felt like
preached at.
Yeah, in a sense. Just like it was almost like it was so rapid fire, this delivery of stuff, and when you're unpicking what he's saying, he's like talking about bovine economics and stuff, and you're like, mate, like
that's when you go.
All right,
it is a bit Rick Mayall
and reading to them.
It almost, when you said that, it reminds you of that sketch from, you've seen the young ones, you must have, when they talk about crop rotation in the 18th century. Yeah, it's a bit, it's like, what? No, it's cool. I mean, like we just started at the beginning of the podcast and just got into
I think you'd love the young ones.
You would love the young ones.
I've seen like the odd episode, but nothing. Yeah. I've seen like the University Challenge episode.
That's the episode. That's from that episode.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Is it when they're against? Is it on the University Challenge?
They're on the train going up, and Rick's being questioned by Neil about the specialist subject he's going to be doing, which is crop rotation in the early 17th or 18th century. And it's a stupid scene, but it's brilliant. It's also in the same bit where Vivian gets his head cut off. What is that?
On the train, yeah.
But that's one of the best episodes. That's the one that always kind of gets cited because it is the high watermark for that series. It really is. It was absolutely perfect. It was the perfect culmination of things. So I mean, the post emo thing. It is strange that it's almost like we have to put a caveat before we talk about emo because people go, My Chemical Romance spring straight to mind, but it's not.
It was nothing I could ever get into, man.
The My Chemical Romance stuff.
I'd rather drink my own sick than
No, but we're talking about Fugazi
and even like Fugazi. I think I've heard Fugazi loads. I like bits of Fugazi, but that thing never had a major influence on me. Yeah. I can see how it has on you though.
I love Fugazi.
Yeah, I do like them. Don't get me wrong, but they're not like on a huge influence scale for me. But because that was the scene I never kind of got into. It was always like, what's heavier, what's darker, what's...
When Cam and I started first playing together, really, we were listening. I was listening to a lot of Slint and like post-rocky sort of
Tweez,
and that sort of comes from post-hardcore stuff as well, and like the Discord bands. We'd send each other stuff all the time.
Yeah, we listened to a lot of the Discord.
Yeah, and some of the stuff that we played, we've never gone back to, but it was a lot more like war influences on us.
Tortoise, stuff like that, and
not so much like that. We never played stuff like that. I can remember we playing some really slow, like sad
real
stuff.
slow. It was
Yeah,
really
sad
slow
stuff,
to start. Really slow shit.
Well, like kind of like Nothing, that kind of stuff, is it?
I like Nothing,
do you know
I
the
love
band
it.
Low?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so like
Christmas
slow
EP,
core
yeah.
stuff. Like
Yeah,
we did go there, but we stepped back from it, and
I'm glad we did, to be honest.
Yeah,
I prefer
definitely,
what we do.
yeah.
There's
What we
still
do
that
now
kind
is-
of element when you on some of your riffs when it kicks in, because you don't tend to have these lulls in terms of like clean and heavy.
No,
You have either no guitar or guitar.
Yeah.
And I don't. That's not.
No, I'm not offended.
That
That's cool.
Right, and I love that. But when it kicks in, it's kind of a swing like that. Nothing kind of rhythms to it. You know that. And I love Nothing as well. They're a superb
awesome.
band.
Yeah.
But I forgot what I was going to go with that. But but no, I see those kind of various influences in your music, similar to when I listen back to what we do. I can hear, that's like Neurosis part. That's the band next part. Like with you boys, I hear like, that's like almost like a Black Flag. And I'm not comparing you to any of these. I'm just saying I can
hear that in there.
I hear
influences
when I hear you boys, hand on heart, I hear Only Fools and Corpses.
No, thank you.
That's the best
That's the best thing we do.
best compliment
But
you can
no,
ever get as a band, really,
on
isn't
my,
it?
on my kids' lives, man. When I hear you boys, I hear Only Fools and Corpses. But when I hear this part, that's like a Black. I can see where you listen to Black Flag, or this part I can see where you listen to maybe Nothing, and that's why I brought Nothing in, because I've picked that
I
up
do like Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the Fugazi. You know, I can see where your influences come from, and you've melded them really well. Probably for me, I mean, I can't speak for other people, nor do I care about other people's opinion. But for me, I haven't seen certainly a fresh young band take these influences and do it well.
That's very nice to
Very
hear.
much.
Thank you.
And that's why I soon as I listened to it, I rang up Lloyd. He deals with all our Facebook. Message these boys. Message these boys. Give them a listen. And then he he texts me back then some expletives. I messaged them. So,
Well, I listened to Scene before, which is a shame because it was the only video I could find online. I'm sorry, I didn't really do much of my homework before I came here, so I must apologise.
It's the only song.
That's the only
song.
So yeah, and I was pretty impressed, to be perfectly honest with you. No, it was like fucking hell, man. This is a bit fucking visceral. So yeah, it's I think what Chris is saying, I'll back him up with that. It's nice the fact that you're not ambulance chasing with the genres. You know what I mean? You're not like going as in like, that's big at the moment. That's really big. Let's make sure we do that. Which is nice to see, because then again, you're not going to have a shelf life. You're going to be able to just sort of exist. Going back to the whole Fugazi thing, I know you're not the biggest fan, but it was the most sensible thing, and they're still regarded, you know, like the ultimate rock band that never sold out. But you can put on a Fugazi album, say spare 13 songs, which is a little bit dated, but you know, Repeater and
I
you know,
love 13 songs.
I'm totally, and no disrespect against it, but like you put on your Repeater, it's like, hang on a minute, it's still kind of got a little bit of a freshness with it. But
in terms of Fugazi, though, you also have the DIY aspect, and they took that everywhere they went.
Did you ever hear the story about how grunge was at this sort of zenith, and they were approached at some big major like sellout gig as one of the big players, someone like Geffen, who was swallowing up every grunge act under the sun, approached them, apparently took them, and Guy and Mackay went off apparently the suitcase with an untold amount of money, and they just told him to go, you know, stick it, and they never ever sold out, which I thought was just genius of them. And the other thing is, I don't know how true this is, but someone who's also a massive Fugazi friend of mine, Ed, he said through whichever sort of publication online, they've been meeting up ever since Argument ended, and they've been jamming every weekend.
I've heard that.
Right?
Too.
So it's really frustrating to like, because everyone, like Fugazi fans, are rabid for when are you going to do the next thing, but they've just been hanging out, having fun and playing. So
what was that? The picture that went up on Instagram recently of
there's a Ian Mackay.
The Minor Threat album cover, wasn't it?
Oh yeah,
Do you know they sat on the doorstep again?
Yeah, but
but people were saying,
Threat
what's
again.
coming? What's coming next? What's coming
nothing
now?
from Minor Threat.
Nothing.
Why the hell would you
knew nothing was coming.
I don't think I'd want to hear him play
I wouldn't.
new stuff.
Exactly.
now either.
Leave it as it
I don't
is.
even play the old stuff.
You're right. You're absolutely right there. Because there's this, without slagging off Bad Religion, I'm going to slag off Bad Religion a little bit here. I saw them in 2005 in Bristol, and it was tired. it was tired back then, and that's over 10 years ago. It's way over 10 years ago. So there's a bit of a shelf life, and this goes back to the Fugazi thing. You start off as Minor Threat, you become Egg Hunt, then you become Embrace, and then you become Fugazi. It's the only, and then the Evens, which is where he is now with his wife. It's
but
the
that's
natural
totally
progression.
different from what they're playing. And if you think about Black Flag, the lineup's changed hugely over the years, and they've just done a tour in October or November or something like that.
Is this Flag or Black Flag?
This is Black Flag. I like Flag a lot.
I would go into
with
Flag.
Keith Morris.
Keith Morris.
So have you
Killing
heard Circle Jerks?
Yeah, I love
they're
Circle
back
Jerks.
together now.
Oh, really?
are they?
Yeah, they're touring in the States, and I think it's, I might get this wrong, but it's Circle Jerks, Negative Approach.
Jeez, that sounds pretty heavy. It's a heavy lineup.
And two other bands, which I'll check in a bit now, but it's
It sounds like it could
four
either
bands
blow
which
your
are just
mind,
like-
or it could be really disappointing.
Yeah, blow your mind or crush your dreams.
that's another good song title.
legendary stuff. But who wants to see like geriatrics doing it? I don't.
I can watch a Rolling Stone.
Although I go see Flag, I'm a hypocrite. I go see Flag.
Well, I mean, like another one that I saw Mudhoney in 2008 in Leeds, and that broke my heart because like I love Mudhoney. Mudhoney is perfect 92, 93, but again 2008 Leeds, it was like, oh man, it's hamming it up.
You say that though, bro, right? And who wants to see geriatrics? But they're the best. Like the Melvins are the same age as those guys. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think
fair enough.
Yeah,
No, fair
age
enough.
is just a number.
Yeah, all right.
One of the things is,
But I know what you're saying. It's like that's what's good, because if you got those kind of guys playing that 80s hardcore punk, and then you look at Melvins who've done everything.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how
I think
that's why
Melvins-
they've aged so well.
But Melvin's never stopped either.
Exactly.
They're hungry for it as well. The Melvins are. They kind of nearly got to the top when everybody was citing them and Kurt Cobain was citing them, but they're still hungry for it. I think you have to separate
They
the
do what they
hunger
want.
from.
They fund everything themselves, and it's a huge influence on us.
Yeah, you got to think about whether you really truly believe in whether you still believe in what you were singing about or playing about at the time.
And that's the issue I have with Rolling Stones, man. No, I'm not a fan of them. I'm not a fan at all of them, man. I never really have been. They got the odd song, which is pretty cool, but I'm not a fan. And they've been millions and millions. And they're in the 70s, but they're still writing their own music and still going on tour. Now, they don't need to,
No.
but they're still doing it. So that makes me think about they are doing it for the love. And I'm not a fan. I'm not no influence there. Like I said, there's the odd song I hear, which is pretty cool, but I can take them or leave them. But it's a point where money doesn't matter. They're still clearly doing it because they love it.
Yeah.
And that was the realization I had when I thought that about Rolling Stone. There must be other bands where
It's a fair
doing it
point.
for
I
the
guess
love of it.
yeah,
you know
it is.
what
I
I mean?
hadn't
point.
particularly thought about it like that. Personally, I wouldn't see the Rolling Stones.
Not me.
I think pay 80 quid to see them in some arena.
Oh no.
Well, that's another another interesting.
But yeah, I do
point.
see what you mean about the love. Sorry.
Yeah, you know what
It's
I mean.
like-
That's what I'm trying to get at.
It's like if I wouldn't want it to just be like, right, boys, we're 30 now. I guess we better fucking pack this in, you know. If you're still enjoying playing it, I guess it was to stop
so
you
yeah,
playing
man.
it.
No, I'm off.
I'm off.
I'm done.
But Jack sort of you've sparked something in my head there, because like you're saying about the 80 quid. I mean, this kind of ties into the Fugazi thing as well, because they capped how much people would pay to go into
Yeah,
shows
that's
and
something
stuff.
I loved about them.
I mean, someone was telling me my colleague Conrad, who runs a business with me, Joe Bonamassa's charging like 90 quid a ticket or something like that.
I saw that the other
Where
day.
do you guys, I mean, because I don't go to many gigs anymore because of running the business, doing the podcast and other things, right? So where do you guys stand on that? Because you're in the scene, you're in the middle of it now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a bit of an insult to your senses, really, to be told you're going to pay 80 to 90 quid for what?
So the other day we saw Shellac in Cardiff. Shellac, one of the most inspirational bands.
Yeah.
Steve
for us.
Albini.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
There's
Steve Albini.
There's no one who records a snare drum like that, man.
Yeah, you're fucking right.
You listen to Neurosis and listen to that snare drum on Times of Grace.
But he records like such a wide range of bands. Like bands I love, Songs Ohio.
Yeah.
Nirvana.
It's like country sort of stuff.
Yeah,
and he
I love
records
that
it,
stuff, man.
and he perfects it.
Yeah.
So you went to see Shellac and...
It was £18.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Which yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
You can't complain about that at all.
No, you
£18.
If you haven't seen it talking about Steve Albini, get online. And I think the video's called Steve Albini use his iPod for first time, and they play him. They ask him first about the new Shellac album and how it should be heard, and he's talking about his, despite his love for vinyl, this is why vinyl should be used, and even like CDs, although it's a bit more compact, it still is. And then they give him the iPod with the new Shellac album on it, and he listens to it maybe 30 seconds, and he takes it off. He's expressionless, and he takes it off, hands it back, and he goes, "You need to watch." He says something like, "Now see, this is what's wrong." He just breaks it down. And it's like, it's brilliant, man. If you haven't seen that, but check that out, man. For an Albini fan.
He's brutal.
But I mean, for those who listen to the podcast who don't know who Shellac are, you should really go and educate yourself. I mean, to start with, Dude Incredible is a pretty good place to start, or 10,000 Hertz.
10,000,
yeah, 10,000 Hertz.
If you can get past the first track, which is fantastic. But it is there's a warning with that because some people might be triggered.
Very put off by that.
Very put off by.
We were going to cover that. Well, we wanted to cover it at one point.
Yeah.
But it's to see someone like Albini for 18 quid in Cardiff is pretty monumental.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
crazy.
support were great as well.
Who's supporting?
It was a band called Beige Palace.
Right.
They're only
Palace.
they're only a little.
Awesome.
They haven't got like loads of streams or anything on their Spotify. They're like below 1,000, but they were sick.
From Sheffield or Leeds or something.
yeah,
It's
something like that.
They did the whole tour with them, or was it just
The whole tour.
I
Yeah.
think they did the whole UK
Whole tour.
tour. Yeah.
It was quite funny because they came out on stage and the guy who was he playing guitar?
Yeah, he was on guitar.
Yeah, he was on guitar, and they didn't have a bassist. This girl played synth,
Oh, right.
well, like a keyboard, and it was
Yeah,
coming
yeah.
through a bass amp, and it sounded
Yeah.
minging. It
The
sounded
Days of
really
used
good.
to do that, man.
Yeah, yeah. And the guitarist, he was like, "Hello, we're from Sheffield, and we are Beige Palace." And as soon as he said it, I was like, "I've seen this before." And it turns out that he was on Pointless.
Right.
And he bigged up his band on Pointless, and I went to speak to him about it afterwards, and I was like, "I've seen you on telly, and I don't know why." And he was like, "Yeah, I was on Pointless." I was like, "Okay, cool."
They were great though.
Yeah, it was
That is a
amazing.
classic.
But they
story.
were awesome.
They were
They were
awesome.
really good. Yeah.
So have you guys got anything hard copy? I mean, are you investing in doing a CD or a vinyl release or anything?
No,
like
I
that?
brought this up with you, didn't I? When I said about because I'm hoping now off air we'll try and chat about this, trying to get a Minds only
Split.
full
Oh, yeah,
split.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we
And
got
I spoke to you about putting up a CD, and you said, "I'll put it up on streaming," and then you said you did the merch for that tour you just
Dream
did.
State. Yeah, just come off tour.
And you were like,
yeah.
"I can't believe how many CDs people were buying."
Yeah, it's
I
insane.
said, "Yeah, 'cause underground
Numbers.
music will." I know they're not like so much underground like Minds or
No,
Only
but
Fools of Corpses,
just
but,
the general
but people will still
people
buy
consume
that.
music.
Yeah.
Still buy it physically like that.
And
it amazed me. I couldn't believe
especially the stuff you boys do. It'd be a tragedy if you don't do it.
it. Well, I think we're
We're looking to record.
Yeah,
we're
tentatively.
semi-booked into a studio.
Yeah, we're
next
just
month.
kind
Who are you
of
doing it with?
a fella called Miles. What's his surname?
Miles. Yeah, so we've got a friend's band from Swansea called Neon, who do sort of, I guess, flag.
flag punk.
Flaggy
Yeah.
kind of
Okay,
sounding.
cool. Yeah, I've
punk.
seen the name about, man.
It's
I've
cool,
watched
yeah.
it, I've
They-
heard them.
they
They
were
were
at the,
at that
show.
Oh, you might not have caught them though. Did you leave after us at the Bunkhouse show?
Or did you
How
hang
long
around
did you
for
hang
the rest of the
around?
show?
Do you remember? I can't remember if I saw you.
Was that
later
with State
on
of
after.
Decay?
Yeah.
No, you did it. You played.
And then it was
me and
tracked.
Lloyd went and get food, and we come back,
probably-
and State of Decay were on.
So
I
you
missed
guys were
that.
Yeah.
supporting State Decay?
Yes.
Well, Mark's one of my closest mates.
Oh, okay, there we go,
And I
go
was
on.
and so was AJ. I was in uni with AJ. So yeah, fantastic. Well,
Yeah, that was
Oh.
our first show.
that was your first show.
Yeah.
How long ago was that?
That was April this year. It was
Last year.
last year. Sorry.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
Their first show was meant to be with us, and then Jack decided he was Evil Knievel.
It wasn't April, was it? Was it May?
No, fuck, it must have been June. Sorry.
No, it
Yeah,
was
sorry,
June.
it was June. Yeah,
I've got a photo
yeah, it was June.
of a road sign I took going to the gig where someone graffitied the man at
Yeah.
work sign as the devil, and it was June 26th, I think.
Yeah,
Well,
okay.
my
Yeah.
wrist was not up to playing a gig in April. Thinking
No.
about it now.
No, it wouldn't have
I
been.
mean, you guys are not polar opposites, but without blowing my own trumpet here. The first 2 State of Decay EPs I recorded and engineered for them, right?
Cool.
Well, yeah. There's a lot of things I would have done for the second one, which would probably be not let AJ tell me what to do, i.e., turning the bass up, turning the bass up, turning the bass up. But you crank it, yeah.
No complaints from me.
You two guys, as in terms of like collective of bands, very, very, very different. I mean, because like State of Decay is sort of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, hammer through it, and you guys are like more spiraling sort of darkness and a bit like what's going on.
That's why we wanted to do shows with them, because like Minds and Only Fools and Corpses are nothing alike. And
we like that. We like having like different things on a lineup because it keeps it interesting.
Same as us.
Yeah.
And like every time we do a show, it's like, well, let's ask you boys.
Yeah. We appreciate that.
It's
It's awesome.
you know, because we enjoy you, and you still get you've got that energy and ethos that we have.
I think
from
we
a
fit
different
well on the
place.
bill.
Wow, yeah,
together.
totally do, man.
Yeah, that
Couldn't agree
the Sin
enough,
City
man.
show when
That was a great show, man.
Oh, that Sin
that
City
was
show
awesome.
It was a
banging.
good Sin City.
Do you have a favourite venue so far in Swansea that you guys have played? I mean, because I played the Bunkhouse and I thought the sound from there was absolutely whomping. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
Previous band I was in, we did one of our only few gigs in Sin City, and with Paul Cunningham on the desk, and he was brilliant for us at that point in time. He was fantastic.
Yeah.
So I mean, where do you guys like love to play in Swansea?
I think not that we've played there, but there's been a few like underground DIY shows in a tattoo shop. That I won't say the name.
Yeah, that's fine.
probably.
But there's a few
you
tattoo
Say the
shops.
tattoo
there.
you can say it if you want.
Can you? I don't know if you can.
Well, there was a show in Exist.
Yeah.
Oh, there was a
As
show
well.
In the
Exist.
skate
Yeah,
park.
there's a
Show
show
Exist.
No,
not in the shop.
Yeah, we've been to this
Yeah.
In the shop.
in the shop.
Yeah.
as
That's
well, yeah.
brilliant.
That's
It's booted.
Say what you want.
Oh yeah, Broadside
Yeah.
tattoo shop. There was a show upstairs,
show.
a couple shows upstairs
Yeah.
that were really fun. Like everyone was jumping.
It's
We didn't play ourselves, but that's something where I'd like to play.
in terms of where we have played. Bunkhouse had
Bunkhouse was good.
awesome sound. Yeah, it was really, really
Yeah.
good.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I mean that's 3 of us now that have said that, because when Minds played there, you thought it was brilliant. Same here. Well, you said, wasn't it, the
We
Frick?
played it 2 or 3 times now.
Yeah.
The sound's been great. Did we play with you in there?
No, we haven't played together there.
No,
No,
did you play with Tides of Sulphur? Was it?
Yeah, we did that.
Was
it
show,
that
yeah.
show?
Bunkhouse,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I played another one before it with someone. I can't remember what it was. But yeah. I've
Yeah,
definitely played it
we've
twice.
only played is it 2 venues in Swansea? That's all we've played.
No, we've done
3.
4.
Mr.
Creature
Four.
Sound,
Yeah.
Crowley's,
Oh,
Yeah,
Sin.
Crowley's. Yeah,
Do you know what?
Crowley's was
Do you
really
know what?
good.
I was.
No,
I've
never
not been
heard
impressed.
that.
I've not been
impressed
impressed.
with that.
Like
No
Crowley.
offense to them. No offense to
But
them.
yeah, God bless. But
It was great.
it was
great.
jumping for us, and it,
It
was
was awesome.
Like we played on the Swansea Fringe Fest,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and
But
the
now-
energy in the room
the
was
response was-
amazing.
That's why I think it goes back to like you were saying, Dan, about like you boys and us meetings. Like I've never been a great fan of Crowley's. I'll say it on this. I don't care. But we've played there, and it's a very black leather Iron Maiden bar, isn't it? You
It
know what I
is.
mean?
Yeah,
And
definitely,
we
yeah.
go on and do what we do, and you can just see the people like, oh, and it's like 1 or 2 people who are just loving it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's what I'm
yeah,
there for.
Amazing. Yeah.
So I get that what you say
Yeah.
about there, man.
You've
You've
got-
got playing there.
You've got to go into Crowley's thinking that it's, and I don't want to, this is no disrespect to Crowley's because I do like it as a venue. It's a case of it's like a glorified jam, you know, because that's, no, that's, it's like a jam, it's like a practice.
You're right.
You've
You're
got to
right.
look at
When
it like that.
we every time we ever play Crowley's, we always say this is a glorified rehearsal. This is every time we do it.
Crowley's was weird for us. You were behind the amps.
I
weren't
was
you?
miles
Way
behind. I
back.
couldn't hear a thing really. All I could hear was just like the very low end of the bass. And like I think Cam, you even come back to me at one point, and within seconds you were gone because you couldn't hear
Couldn't hear
what you
anything.
were playing. Yeah, but we somehow kept it together.
Yeah, we managed to get through it.
I think we practice quite a
We
lot.
practice a lot. I think
You
that
do,
don't
helps
you?
a lot.
Yeah, we
How
practice
often do you
quite a lot.
practice?
We try to do at least once a week.
At least once
Yeah,
a
we
week
do
if we
as
can.
well.
Yeah, that's what we do with my band as well. Yeah, I mean, you I mean, obviously take like a week off here and there.
Yeah,
so we
yeah.
can, but
I
yeah,
tell you what
Yeah,
I enjoy though is
some-
when we roll up
Yeah,
and we're walking through packing up and we're donna. It's like, oh, the boys are in there. We're setting up and as I'm plugging my gear in, like,
We should really give a big shout out to Soundhaven. Ken's playing.
Soundhaven.
Massive.
Ken's playing tonight with Sons of Thunder.
Sons of Thunder. He's
he's-
filling in
yeah.
for Sons tonight.
So
He is,
I mean, not only are we having a really good podcast, but I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Sons, Siguraya, Desert Storm, and Raging Speedhorn are playing tonight, so I'm missing out on that. No offense.
on that though, if you think of
But,
other bands, I would just like to put this on record. I'm not a drummer, but influencing me and a tragic loss was Reed Mullin today from Corrosion of Conformity.
Yeah.
Not to bring this down, it's been good, but Corrosion of Conformity. My phone went off this morning at 6:15 at a message, and it was my good friend, and I saw the news, and immediately I heard that double kick he does on. Yeah, so sad though. It's big loss, man, big loss. But
I mean, the great thing about Corrosion is that it's two bands that run in parallel. It's the hardcore band that it started with, the second wave of punk, the American side of punk, and then it sort of merged into this dark, soupy sort of southern sleaze. Not sleaze is the wrong word. Southern sort of hardcore.
So I wouldn't argue with you on that.
And then it came back as this sort of the hardcore thing, and then Pepper came back, and I love the fact that it's kind of like a family band to it as well. But it's
a big loss. But yeah, back to Soundhaven rehearsing. That was always cool when we set it up and we can hear you boys. And sometimes we don't know you're there. We're out.
It's lovely when we. What?
Yeah,
Come out the back.
No, it's good, man. And
No, big up Ken.
Big up Ken.
Yeah, Ken's a gentle soul.
I
He's
think it was
lovely.
Ryan who said, it's nice when we rehearse next to these boys, because at least we know it's not an Oasis cover band.
yeah, but I mean, it's a hell of a place to rehearse because
it's
not only have you
wonderful,
got
man.
you guys, you got minds, but we did one rehearsal session up there, and we were just sort of, this is before the Rusty Nuts started to get a bit more traction. We rehearsed somewhere else, but that's not here, neither here nor there. And we actually stopped because Siguraya were next door. And one of us was like, who's that next door? It sounds like Sigurd. And we literally like lost about 10 to 20 minutes of the practice session just sitting there listening to the walk. Oh my God, this is amazing. This stuff is brilliant. So yeah, it's a damn good rehearsal
It's
run.
great, man.
Yeah, it's
And
great.
Theo and Ken do a great job.
Ken
man,
and Theo put a lot of time into it.
Yeah.
The drums always sound top notch. To be fair, they're singing, which is very nice as a drummer.
Yeah. It's like it's when you got someone like Danny hitting the drums. Also, just come on now.
So I mean, have you guys got a busy year lined up? No.
First few months you have, haven't you? Yeah.
We do well.
Yeah.
As far as we can see it, it's busy.
Yeah, it seems
That's
to be
great.
Yeah,
We got a show this Friday, 31st of January. I don't know when this is going to come out.
Probably next week.
Or
Probably next
next week.
week.
Oh, well,
This
So
was
last week you had a show.
last week you had a show. Yeah,
Last
yeah.
week, whoever's listening wasn't there.
That's it's on me
missed
for
out
the
big
again.
time.
So it's okay. Apart from the one that's coming, have you,
With 5th of Cardiff. 5th of
it's a good name for a band.
That's
Fifth
a
of
good-
Cardiff.
Fifth of
Yeah,
Cardiff.
that's a good name
That's
for a
definitely an emo band.
That is an email. 5th of Feb, we're in
in Porters,
Porters
in
and
Cardiff.
Cardiff. 11th of Feb,
We've got a headline at the Exchange basement in the
in
basement.
Bristol.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
We've
That's
not
cool.
played Bristol before.
Oh,
Never
Bristol's-
really.
It's
Never
our
played
first show in
Bristol.
Bristol.
Where
Oh,
the hell's
boys.
the Exchange? Is that in Old Market? I can't remember. Yeah,
Ah,
by
yeah,
the
oh,
Stag
wow,
Hounds.
yeah.
yeah, I have been there. That's
Yeah.
what the Croft became, isn't it?
Do you-
No,
No,
don't know, actually.
no.
No, it's not.
The
Is
Exchange
it the Stag and Hounds that's next
Stag and
door?
Hounds is
Stag
next
and
door,
Hounds
that
is
pub. It's
Pretty
on the,
small
there's the
venue.
big roundabouts as you're going past
Yeah.
Cabot.
Yeah.
It's on the top by there, as you're going down towards...
It's a great venue.
Awesome, I've seen
Yeah,
awesome.
a
I've
lot
seen
of
some
good
great
bands
bands.
there.
I saw Sumac and Baptist in there.
Oh man,
Yeah.
I bet that was an amazing show.
Oh yeah. And I saw
What's the Nick Yashin, the
Nat
drummer?
Yashin.
Yashin, insane drummer to play
Superb.
a Baptist set and then play a Sumac set.
Yeah.
Pretty much straight
we
after
watched
that
it,
is
man.
nuts.
Potentially things could really open up for you because if Bristol's one of those cities, and this is no disrespect to South Wales in any shape, form, Swansea and Cardiff and Newport, great places to write and sort of test the material, but if you get a foothold in somewhere like Bristol, I mean, it's not just one or two pubs, it's a whole movement
City,
and
yeah,
scene
yeah.
within itself.
But as
There's
soon
loads
as I
of it.
saw you boys down for playing Bristol, it made total sense. I think you'll go down really well. Then.
Yeah, you will.
I wouldn't go up there with any nerves. You'd go down well up there.
It's not how I would have chosen to play Bristol for the first time.
Where would you have
myself.
gone?
Yeah, personally.
I would have rather been on a support
On a
bill, to
support.
be honest. We got approached after we did the hardcore festival in Neath by someone who runs the shows in the Exchange basement and asked us if we wanted to come along. And
That's
do a
pretty damn
headline,
good, though.
which was awesome.
Yeah.
But it's tricky because we'd never played Bristol before.
You
We
play like you
don't
play
have-
with us, and other times I've seen you, and you'll go down well. I won't worry
Yeah.
about it, boys. I
I'm
would
just
not
hoping it's
worry
going to
about
be
it.
Even if there's a couple of people there.
Yeah,
there will be.
Yeah,
Because in Bristol, there's the passion for it's there. So.
Yeah, I'm from Chippenham, which is just about half an hour from Bristol. So hopefully going to get a few friends down.
Yeah.
Got a lot of friends in Bristol as well.
So
Yeah.
you are now
I live in Swansea now.
fully Jack.
I'm fully Jack.
You want to be.
I lived here for 5 years, man. I went on then.
Yeah.
You've taken a
what's
little
the deal?
hiatus from Swansea.
What was it about that made you want to stay, and what is it about that makes you want to come back? And
so I've been here since 2012. Did uni. Met a lot of friends here. I was in an old band called Brokers back in the day in Swansea.
I was for a spell.
for a little spell. We never played live though with that amalgamation. But I think the thought of going back to Chippenham where there's not really much going on creatively in the slightest. It's a bit of a, I don't want to say a dead end town. I mean no disrespect to my friends, but
no, it can be.
No one's
no
one's doing anything there.
Yeah.
And the next best place is Bristol. Can't afford to live in Bristol, and I don't know that many people in Bristol, so Swansea is just it's by the sea, it's by the Gower.
Power, brother.
When you explore the Gower, you're just sold on Swansea, I think.
I grew up here all my life, and I can't argue with it. I still go down there once a week, and you always find something new. I'm 35 and lived here all my life for finding things.
There we are, the timely thing of the clock again. Don't want to edit that. But Jack raises a really interesting point, because I moved to Bristol in 2000. I lived there for about 8 to 9 years, right? And there was a time where you could afford to live there. I mean, and it is frustrating because I hear people go, because my mind's still part of it is in Bristol. I remember where before Cabot Circus came in and before it became part of the commuter belt for London, you could live there and survive there. Yeah. And I do think it is a crying shame that a city like that has now priced out people or anybody who wants to be creative and live in there, because you can't live there with the house prices that they are now.
It's a big daunting thing, and it's part of the rent crisis.
It's through the roof. I then think about how much it costs to rent. I lived on Gloucester Road, Miller Road. I lived over the Hatchet at one point, and I lived in Windmill. Oh, that was interesting. It was very interesting. I lived in Windmill Hill in Bedmead before it got redone, and that was like, it was the lowest of the low, but it was like, it's Bedminster. But now that's all. I hate the word gentrification, but it's gone a bit upmarket. And I
think Bristol is like just a rapidly developing city.
Yeah.
But it was massive before. It's always been huge, but I think in terms of I guess gentrification.
I think it's overtaken Brighton. I mean, I think it's overtaken that as this sort of new hub. Definitely, because there's so many bands that sort of just keep cropping up. Or Bristol is kind of the place. The only other place I've seen in the UK like that was Leeds. Leeds, really? I felt was I thought Leeds was absolutely belting when I went up there. It was like another show. No, it's fantastic.
Cool. Yeah, there seems to be a good psych and noise scene up north for some reason. I don't know why, but there's always
and I think that's come from older bands that came from the sludge scene, because when I was the age of you boys are now, it was a lot of sludge up there, a lot of the New Orleans influence sound. And these guys got older, they've got more psychedelic, they've got into that. I think that's where that comes from.
Yeah, maybe.
The more experimental side, they've done the heavy sludge thing.
Yeah, I like that experimental stuff.
Well, that's what we do,
Yeah.
So, I really enjoy that. But as far as it goes with Only Fools and Corpses, though, it's going back almost to the start, where Simon said what were your influences. We only ever kind of got Fugazi out there, but
Coldplay.
That's fine. That's fine.
I think.
But they can't. Well, you say that though, it might be. Like you hear us and what we do, and things like maybe like Hank Williams. Hank Williams the third. Yeah. Huge influence on me. Yeah. And on the physical riff I play, but you won't hear that on the way we put it out. 100%. So Coldplay could be an own.
No, we had Ruben as well.
Yeah, there's masses of stuff behind us.
I think the nice thing and why we enjoy playing together so much is because we all come from a little bit of a different background in terms of what we listen to.
Yeah.
It kind of converges in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'd argue I'm probably the heavier
Yeah, definitely.
awkward,
Yeah.
erratic end of stuff.
Yeah.
I love Converge.
Like
I was just going to say, please follow that up with the fact you love Jacob Bannon.
I love
Please,
Jacob
please,
Bannon.
thank you.
I love Dillinger Escape Plan.
Yeah.
Daughters. I really like Daughters.
Yeah.
We had that chat on the way up.
Yeah. What are your opinions?
Well, I listened to Daughters for years, and then
Yeah.
they came back with this new album. I'm like,
What do you think of
no.
it? Oh, really?
You're not a fan?
And then
No.
I thought, no, let's sit down and listen to it. And now it's one of my favourite albums.
It's one of my
okay.
But
favourites.
you still can't get into it.
No.
We were like what did we
Sorry,
we went to see
No, I really want to hear your reason on it. Why don't you like it?
I'll have to go back to it. I will. It was just there was something that I just wasn't clicking with, and I was just no. I'm sorry, it just wasn't because the album before that left such. It left such a dent on me because they reference one of, and it really spun me out. They reference a song. In one of the songs, I can't remember the name of it, but they basically sing the plot of the film Ravenous. Right, which is one of my favourite films of all time.
Film.
Real, like
1999.
Yeah.
Guy Pearce and Robert Carlyle. It's based just after the American Civil War, and they're all trapped in a fort.
It's the one that begins.
Cannibalism.
It's an amazing film. It's a
Good title for a film.
Is that on the
self-titled one? Yeah.
What song is it?
Oh, I can't remember. I'm so sorry. I'm going to sound like I'm a real
No, it's okay.
passerby
I'm
as a
just
fan.
interested to know now which one that is.
We can look it up when we take 5. But yeah, I've not taken a break from that sort of stuff. The last sort of band that really knocked me from 6 from that sort of Touche and More were the last sort of band that really just sorry, no offense to swear.
Get into them.
I love them. I love them.
I enjoy them.
We all love
Stage
Touché.
4.
I like
Stage
them,
4, yeah.
but I could never get into them.
I couldn't listen to Stage 4 for a long time just because of like
The subject matter.
the subject matter is
Well,
it's a really heavy album,
Very
and
upsetting.
to for him to be opening up, and even the first 2 songs, I would turn it off after the second song because it was too.
Stage 4 for me, I without sort of lowering it. I mean, I lost my dad last August to stage 4 cancer. It was. I mean, we caught it at stage 4B. You don't catch.
Oh, is that why the
savor it.
record's called Stage 4?
Yeah, because it's about the decline of his mum.
Oh, okay.
And Benediction is like one of the best songs I've ever heard. I love that song to death. It's amazing. Excuse the pun. So stage 4 for me now is like this. Yeah, it's. I was thinking about it today. I was like, I got to.
on it, is it?
Yeah, I mean, I loved it before. Like it was harrowing, but now it's like I'm gonna have to. He even says when he's talking about the songs he wouldn't listen to.
Yeah, I love
Jeremy.
it,
Jeremy's.
What did he say? Sun, Kill Moon, Benji, and Death Cab for Cutie.
What Sarah said.
What Sarah said.
Jeremy's and I also love him because he's one of the only guys I've ever seen, and one of my other favourite bands is The Replacements. He's one of the only people I've ever seen wearing a Replacements t-shirt and like a post-hardcore band or a hardcore band. Like this dude has got some attraction behind him.
What? Which
The song that
Bastards of...
Bastards are Young. Yeah.
Why did they do that at the end of that song?
What?
What is that about?
Right, okay, so that's interesting because
Why the hell did they? They're amazing.
Okay,
and then he did that.
a potted history and The Replacements. The first album, Sorry Ma, I forgot to take out the trash, and then Stink was an EP, and then they did this album called Hootenanny, where if you really want to see where the whole roots of them experimenting and goofing off, it's in Hootenanny, because there's like some parts of it are just all quite off kilter and off the wall. Then they got picked up, I think, by Sire, and they did Let It Be, and that was kind of like this like REM without being schmaltzy. And I don't know, I mean, that's on Bastards Young's on, I think it's Pleased to Meet Me or Tim, I can't remember, I think it's on Tim. But yeah, they did it because they just did. The Replacements were just lunatics, and they were, I mean, they recently last year did a release called Dead Man's Pop, which is a box set. They did an album called Don't Tell a Soul, and it was so overly produced and so 80s, but they went back to it. Paul Westerberg and the boys went, right, come on, look, we'll just go back and we'll strip out all the effects, and got Matt Wallace, the original engineer, to go back. And what you've got now is and this is no offense to the Gaslight Anthem, but this is like an album that the Gaslight Anthem would like to have sounded like. You know, it's not punk. It's kind of got that garage rock feel, and there's all the nods are in the right place. The bands like Big Star, Flaming Groovies. It's a really beautiful record. It's fantastic. But why did they do that at the end? Goofing off. It was just that's just what The Replacements were all about. Why? Because it wrecks it for you. I mean,
I love Off Kilter.
Yeah.
I love it, but I just don't feel like it was done well at that point.
No.
Hearing it, it was like,
why have you ruined
why?
this song?
Yeah, because I felt
Yeah.
like that song just didn't need it.
No, yeah, I know. I feel exactly what you mean. Yeah.
I hadn't listened to the Replacement before at all. Before we were driving back from the Gower one day, and he stuck it on, and like the song was playing as like the sun was going down a little bit just over the sea. It was amazing. I was like, this is awesome. And then it got to the end. I was like, what the heck was that?
But this was a band that was infamous for turning up to gigs and then goofing off, getting drunk, and going, should we try some Black Sabbath? Yeah, and then get like 30 seconds through the song, going, that will do something else. And they, Bob Stimpson, the original guitarist, he was so out of it most of the time. Sadly, died very young. Like Paul Westerberg would have to say to him, he wouldn't remember the songs, and he'd go, "Well, we're doing the fast one now, Bob. Okay, the fast one. We're going to do the mid-tempo one. Oh yeah, the mid," because he couldn't remember anything because he was so whacked out. But they are one of those bands which I would urge anybody to sort of go back, and they're a perfect band to listen to on the drive back. They just are. They're not gonna.
Oh, we've got a lot of songs that
That
bring us back
hot
to like
water
coming
music.
down through the Gower or like going down Swansea
Hit
Beach.
me with them. Come on, hit me.
I've got a ton as well, brother. I got 35 years worth of those.
Yeah, I bet.
The Cure,
Cure.
Untitled.
Yeah.
Don't know if- from Disintegration.
Hot water
Amazing song.
music.
Hot water
Anything,
music.
anything off Forever and Counting.
Yeah.
Where are you driving on this point? Over
Well,
Kevin Bryn? Or?
I'm picturing with Untitled by The Cure. I'm picturing Swansea Beach sunset, a little fire going, and a few beers.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay.
Forever and Counting, driving through the Gower.
Yeah.
We in the summer this year we were going down Pulfdy,
Yeah.
like
Most days.
Yeah, most days.
I was writing my dissertation
Little
and
swim.
Jack was finishing works. We'd go for a swim when it was hot.
that was beautiful.
I have one band that I'm interested to hear your opinions on.
Go for it.
Go for
That,
it, man.
at least for me, they're a big influence. I know Dan's been getting into them recently. Leatherface.
Oh, yeah.
Leatherface.
I've seen the
Yeah.
name,
Know
I've
of
not
them, but
listened to
don't
man.
know of them.
Oh, okay, fair
Okay,
enough.
no,
Have
hit
you
me
seen the
up.
name, but
Yeah.
I've not listened to him, man.
Oh, all right. Well, check Leatherface
What kind
out.
of stuff? What is it?
80s, what inspired hot water music? Gruff, angular punk.
They're from the 80s. Or they
No, I
modern
guess
band,
they're
or?
like late 80s into 90s, and then Sunderland based. The main guy, Frankie Stubbs, is still going, but he's an old guy by this
Yeah.
point. He's doing like acoustic
So,
stuff.
so it's angular, like Gang of Four angular, or
No, not Gang of Four.
No, not Gang of. I don't even know how to
Wipers
describe
angular,
it.
or
There's wipers in it.
There's
I
wipers
reckon.
in there, okay.
It's like you can barely understand what he's saying.
yeah. So he's doing like this Captain Beefheart thing to the wipers, right? Okay. Yeah, ish.
Ish. With but Frankie Stubbs and Dickie Hammond was the other guitarist in that band, and it's just so many like interwoven guitar lines and stuff.
Yeah.
They got
really good lead lines.
Yeah, 1991 Mush was their, like that was 5 years before I was born.
No,
That's
no,
like their big album, which I came out on my parents' anniversary, weirdly. But that's like one of my favorite albums of all time. And yeah, if you guys haven't listened,
Yeah,
check
no,
out
I
Leatherface,
haven't.
do it.
I definitely 100% see the name.
Yeah, but that's
And,
one for
I'll
us.
probably listen to them and think, oh yeah, I've heard this.
A lot of my lyrics in Only Fools anyway. There's Leatherface.
That's an
References
absolutely
through it.
perfect segue.
Yeah,
Yes, your lyrics, man. I've seen you live, and I've heard the odd. Well, I've heard all the lines, not all, the odd one, but all the lines. And I'm just interested to what are your influences on the lyrics? What you take in the lyrics? How do you construct them? Because obviously I do the same with mine. So I'm just interested to see the wording of Only Fools and Corpses.
oh god, I've always liked writing.
Yeah.
I guess I was into. I did English for an A level and stuff, and I always liked writing. I don't know. It's common stuff to an extent. A lot of it's. Oh god, it's not really cliche and
No, say what you want, man.
dickheadish. It's like love and loss of love. A lot of
It's
it.
fine, man.
But then, like small stuff that bothers you day to day. Dan, we have
Bothers you?
Dan bothers me incredibly. Yeah. He bothers me on a personal level, and then physically, he's bothered me before.
I am
and
bothersome.
Yeah, he's bothersome. No, Dan writes the words for I guess his quotation marks, his songs that he does, and then I do
Cool.
the words for mine generally. That's kind of how it tends to work
So
out. but
like
then we
you would
split.
write for yours, and then I'm going to sing on this part, and you write the lyrics.
Nah, not so much that it's like if Cam comes in with like full lyrics, he might sometimes just be like, "Well, do you want to sing some of these bits?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, I'll sing those bits." But it kind of just for me writing my lyrics, it's very sparing, and it tends to come with not a full song, but like the backbone of a song, or like I've written a bass line for a song already when I write the words. Then as well, I'm not very good at like ad-libbing the words or writing afterwards.
What are the influences for you then when you write lyrics? You follow his or?
No, I'm not a particularly learned person when it comes to like poetry or lyricism or anything like that. It's just I just kind of write
From the heart.
Yeah, I write from the heart.
But we're not being pretentious about it, but it's like
But yeah, it's just
a
like
hardcore approach to it.
and it's if I haven't written lyrics in half an hour, I'm never finishing those lyrics. Pretty much,
Okay.
they're done then and there, or they're never done.
Dan's are more personal than mine in some aspects, I'd say, because I dress mine up a lot more than what Dan does. It is a sparse and unflinching and very much what it is and laid out very plainly, but mine are a bit more I dance around it a little bit more, I guess, and a lot of the time I'll start on something and then it'll work its way into just something totally different, like the one that you were humming earlier, I Feel Violent.
It's one of my. I mean, you could take any band I listen to. Some of my favourite bands, and that line is a very, very good line.
Well, it came from when I was doing my dissertation. I was writing about people's experiences in the valleys during the Depression and what they did for leisure day to day, because there was no work. So how did they occupy their time? And I came across a book from the Rhondda about people recording their own experiences, and the title of the section was "I Feel Violent When I Stop to Think." And I started reading through it, and it was about a young guy who was self-described as like sensitive, and I didn't know whether that was like a code word in 1931 for homosexual, maybe. And it meant that because he was sensitive and reserved, whenever there was work on and he would go to a yard to try and get it, the foreman wouldn't even acknowledge him. He would just be put to the back, and he had a stutter, which meant that he couldn't force his point. And I started writing from this guy's viewpoint, and it was like, I don't know how it starts.
So it's almost like a character base.
Yeah, a lot of it for my stuff is character based, but fleshing out how I feel about, you know.
So I can remember hearing
looking
it.
around.
It's like, I feel violent when I stop to think.
Yeah.
Oh, bastard! I wish I'd written.
No, it's not me. It's not me. I ripped
No,
it
I
from
was
some
like,
long
yeah,
guy.
shit.
The end. The end of this guy's passage in the book. He said, "If I work up the courage, I'll probably end up killing myself."
Oh.
And I was reading. I was like, Jesus Christ! It was like
Well,
horrible.
It's delivered really cool, and it fits that. So the wording and the rhythm of it fits for me perfectly with that
Thank
whole
you.
kind of. But then you kick in then with that another verse, and you up it, don't you? In the
Yeah.
it's
Well,
just-
it kind of in the end of that, when it turned into one of our favourite bits, I think I could probably say collectively with
That's the thing, because I told you when we did that gig in Sin City, I told you I was like, there's the riff on the chorus for support your local scene.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm singing it, I was like, what is that riff? What is it? And then I'm like, oh, it's that. I was like, fuck it, they got it in my head.
Yeah.
But it's genuinely, man, it's a good. Well, all these songs, I love them all, but that one is something about it which is.
Thank you very much.
I think it's got a
feel
tribal
quite-
ribal with it as well, isn't it? Is that the one?
Yeah,
with the floor
yeah.
top?
So I
Yeah, it's
started with
quite
the floor
tribal,
tom, and
yeah.
it was one of the most
Primitive
natural coming together songs that we
Came together really
we've ever
quick. That
written.
one.
I
Yeah.
could see that.
Really quick.
Yeah. We just jammed it for like 5 minutes to start with,
Yeah.
and then built on that during like a 3-hour practice, and by the end of the practice we were finished with it.
Yeah, it's great, man. I
Yeah.
love turning up to rehearsals if you're already there and I'm hearing it. It's like,
Thank you.
makes me want to play it now.
We got some new ones as well, though.
No,
Yeah.
I know. I can't wait to hear
we've got
them, man.
we've got songs that come after I Feel Violent that just seem a little bit more mature compared to the stuff that we
Because
started.
you've been jamming for enough time now where you know the chemistry.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it just seems to be that every time we practice, we'll come out. We've got a new song, and now we struggle to decide
I
on the
know
set
exactly
list.
how that is.
It's just murder.
I
Like
know.
with this first EP we're doing, we had an EP lined up of the songs we were going to do, but we've scrapped a couple of them and changed the order and stuff just because they don't work anymore with how we sound now.
Yeah.
So
You're preaching to the converted here, man.
yeah,
We've written like an album's worth of stuff. And then
It's
Danny
really hard,
joined,
yeah.
and then we were like, well, we have to show them the new stuff. Let's just jam.
Yeah.
And then now we've just got like all the stuff
Fresh
we
stuff.
played when you first, that gig we did in Sin City was Danny's first. He
Yeah.
was only in the band 8 weeks at that point.
yeah,
And 3 were kind of written,
yeah.
and 1 was written with him. And like since we're like you
Just
boys,
keeps-
it's just like,
Just keep going.
yeah.
I think
fun.
with
It's
that
good
with
to hear
that
that I'm
dynamic,
not the only one with a problem.
Yeah.
with that
woe is
dynamic,
me, we've got
I
so many
think
songs.
you allow Ryan to breathe a little bit with.
Sorry then?
I think you allow Ryan to breathe. Is it Ryan?
Right,
Right,
yeah.
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 To breathe a little bit more when he's with the synth, and he
Yeah.
can scream.
Yeah.
And I think he can breathe a little bit more when he's away from the drum kit.
Yeah, well, physically and...
yeah.
Yeah.
I can remember when we played Creature Sound, and he was drumming along, like, and the boom stand for the mic was coming across from the ride cymbal, and I had to keep on running up to try and fix it for him, but it was just every time it would just fall. Yeah, you could see he was getting frustrated, but yeah, it's nice to see him like
Yeah, it's come together.
because
Yeah.
I feel like he experiments a lot, and
Oh yeah, we all yeah. It's the core of what we do.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
But back to your lyrics though. It's like how do you go about it? Do you have the? Because for me, I've got the music, and then I'll write to the music. I might have a line saved.
Yeah.
You know, but
Generally, I got banks of stuff just on my phone that I write about just how I'm feeling about different stuff and little ideas that I come up with, and then kind of crush it into a song once we have a song together. I never really write ideas of my own to bring in to the guys with it already set out, like, oh, the words are going to
No.
go here and stuff. It generally tends to be that
You tend to riff quite a lot when we're jamming as well.
yeah,
which is-
I
which
kind of
is
just
quite nice.
yell and shout until something comes out, and then I go
So
work
back
around
to-
one idea.
sorry, Cam.
No, go on.
But back to the point where you just said about you've been together now for X amount of years and the chemistry's more tight.
Mm.
Do you find you've become more experimental within the riff
Definitely,
and the
definitely.
songs themselves?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, we're pushing the boundaries a little bit more nowadays. I think.
What you will probably find now is that you will buy an effects pedal and you probably will buy something.
I can't see it happening. Chris.
No, I know.
With that new amp now, I'm committed to having one tuner pedal. I've disconnected totally the neck pickup in my guitar, so I can do like the staccato
Yeah.
signal on.
Oh, so your
off
neck
stuff.
pickup is gone.
It's gone. I don't use neck.
So you're using it as a volume control now?
It's a kill switch.
Yeah, it's
It's a kill switch.
Yeah.
yeah.
Can I ask what guitar it is without nerding everybody out? What you're
Yeah,
using?
it's a Gibson Studio 2014
It's a lovely
with
guitar.
I took the stock out and put a bare knuckle nail bomb in the
Nice.
bridge,
Very nice.
and now going through that PV Valve King, it's unreal.
Horrible.
It's
Not horrible, but
no,
like,
that's
just
exactly
like-
what it is. Horrible. Yeah,
Really high end sort
really
of output.
high end.
Yeah.
I used to peel back the mids a lot, but I don't anymore. I kind of put it to 5 o'clock and push the treble, and then bass is about 7, and then I kind of leave it at that, and I don't touch it. I just let it crank up and get warm. and go.
What's the bass you're going through at the moment?
I got a Fender Precision,
Yes. Yes.
and then I just have a Boss tuner, and then I use a little Rootmaster head.
Yeah.
Lloyd's got the same one.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
No, his died and he bought a new one. He's got
no.
a Rootmaster one. But
There we
Not
are.
what I wanted to hear.
That's exactly what I wanted to hear.
the new one. Yeah, but you're not driving 8 pedals
No, very true.
when the peak is like.
Yeah, so yeah, I just run. It's just like a little Rootmaster head.
Wait, is the Precision US or Mexican, or is it
I think
Mexican.
it's Mexican, is it?
Yeah.
your Mexican stuff? When they get it
It's good
right,
bass.
it's absolutely faultless. I mean, that's the big misconception with the country of origin, because the workers from the Mexican plant and the US plant, they're pretty much the same workers. They just bus them over between
Yeah.
Mexico and the USA. So no matter what, somebody who's Mexican is going to be building your Fender. I'll probably get pulled up on that by Mr. and Mrs. Fender.
Yeah.
They'll be writing saying, how dare you? But no, that's awesome, man. I hate to sort of just bring it back to, and the kit you're using, I mean, if you don't mind me asking, Jack, I mean, what are you using at the moment?
Cymbal wise, just Sabian stuff
Yeah.
I've been using for years, and then snare drum. I got a bog standard Sono kit when I was 15, and I've been using that snare drum ever since. I do want to upgrade, but I just can't afford it. I'm poor.
But no, I don't think you should. Because you obviously reskinned that thing, and it suits your sound.
Yeah, thank you very much.
It's-
I appreciate that.
You're using your first sort of thing. You're having a bit of drive on the amp. I'm taking it on the head.
Yeah, a little bit of drive on the head, not loads. Sometimes it can get a bit. I'm still wrestling with it a little bit at the moment because I don't really use the head at home.
Yeah,
it's a bit too loud. So I have a little tinker with it now and then in practice.
And Cam, I mean, you're just a. So what I'm guessing is it's literally just using what's on board on the amp, and that's it. You got to have a bit of respect for that from my point of view, because you do, as a musician, as he's just said, as Chris has just said, you do. A new pedal comes in, and then every song is just a wash with that pedal, and it is nice to hear you just saying, "Well, we just, it's nice and simple." So, I mean, do you wet it up with a bit of reverb on the amp? No, just straight through. Just that's it.
Through.
It's one of the rawest guitar sounds I've heard for a while, and I love it. And it's in a bizarre way. Although I've introduced 2 new pedals since, I still take a huge amount of influence, because I always used to keep it bare, and I use it. Effects are not all the thing, as you know with me. I use them when it feels right. But when I played with these boys, I thought, it's almost like Cam's in a way has influenced me in terms of like, well, I don't need to do all that.
I'm a little
Keep
bit
me grounded.
I'm a little bit different. I have to have overdrive, distortion. I've got 2 reverbs and delay, and I've and a couple of other weird sort of things. But I just love having fuzz or delay, fuzz, overdrive or distortion. I've got more.
Listen, don't get me wrong. I love having those things as an arsehole to whip out every now and then and change it up. But just the purity of just the rawness.
Well,
it was refreshing to see it with these boys. I think that's the first thing I caught on with you boys.
When you see a band like Shellac and they're playing with barely anything, like they have their instruments.
Yeah,
and not much else in front of them. It's pretty inspiring to see a band like that big.
I know with Steve's amps, at least they're probably modded to high hell.
Yeah, it's true.
And he's playing.
And his tone is insane.
It's the electric guitar company. That's what he's got now, isn't it? All those guitars are the aluminium body and neck one. So it's just going to be.
It's going to
amazing.
Like
yeah.
I've always wanted to get one of those.
Yeah, good luck. The waiting list and the money. I mean, I think
Money's no object.
I think they start at about $2,000 to $3,000, like stock parts and stock instruments, isn't it? Or is it more than that? You're shaking your head.
I've no
idea. I thought you were shaking your head. No, Simon, no.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a clue. To be honest.
I think.
Wouldn't it be nice to have your own signature in that?
Well,
Buzz Osborne.
Buzz Osborne's got one. I think, and Steve Albini
from Neurosis got one.
The Brent Hines from Mastodon plays him as well.
Really?
Yeah, he's got like a V with like an acrylic.
The split head as well.
Yeah, and like
right. I didn't know that.
As well.
Well, I can imagine Torchblade, but
big fan of Mastodon.
I saw them in Swansea. I had them
no way.
In a skate club, they just started touring Remission.
I bet that was insane.
We booked them in Escape, and they were supporting High on Fire.
That was wicked.
Yeah, they were both on Relapse at the time. So High on Fire just released the second album, Surrounded by Thieves.
Yeah.
And Mastodon had just released Remission, and a guy in O'Ben who was putting on who run a metal night.
Yeah.
Every Friday.
That's crazy.
And we booked him, and he asked me to help him out on the day, and so I one of my favourite memories of the day I died was watching High on Fire soundcheck Baghdad.
Yeah.
And then Mastodon soundchecked Burning Man. And it was to watch Brandala drum, because Brandala and Bill Keller were in Today's a Day.
Yeah.
And In the Eyes of God.
Did Bran have the massive kit with him? Or
no,
was
they were sharing a kit, man.
They had those days.
They had the 2 toms and a floor, snare, 2 rack toms, floor tom.
Yeah.
And
that's the way it should
3
be.
cymbals. 2 cymbals.
What year was that?
It was 2003, and it was the day before my driving test.
And did you pass?
I failed for going too slow.
No way.
No, that's ridiculous.
Because I'd watched Master. But no, it was great, man. One of my fondest memories was watching Brandala in a fluffy pink drum in Burning Man. I was Today's a Day, one of my favourite bands, and In the Eyes of God, which is the only album him and Bill Keller are on, is in my top 5 albums of all time. But
well, I mean, Clutch played Swansea as well. There's been a whole list of bands that have come through.
I mean, Clutch played here on the Pure Rock Fury tour.
I was going to say about Matt Pike. Is he as big in real life as he seems?
No, he's the same height as me, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's
I have a Matt Pike story because I stood next to him in the cooler in Bristol before they went
I
on
saw him
stage.
on that show as well, man. My favourite memory of that dude is the rider wasn't sorted for that show.
Oh, right,
And
okay.
I was like,
What do they want?
I was like, what do we do? I said, look, this is a cheap shop. I know what Derek's Records is. There was next to it now, it's like a mobility shop. There used to be like a really cheap shop, a hyper value style shop. So I had to walk down there, and I was going through Picton Arcade. And as I was getting towards the end, like, the smell of weed was getting stronger and stronger. And I stepped out, and I turned to my right, and right outside Derek's Records was Matt Pike and Troy Sanders.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
And then I walked, because I kind of knew who Troy Sanders was, but I saw Matt Pike.
Yeah.
I mean, High on Fire are great, one of my favourite bands, but you know, I'm a Sleep fan
Sleep,
as well.
yeah,
You know, and
Sleep,
I saw
yeah.
this guy wrote Jerusalem, and I looked. I'm sure that's Matt Pike. I got what I needed, and I came back, and he'd gone. And I can remember walking past Derek's and seeing Bill Keller just flicking through the records, seeing what he was going to buy, and then entered Escape, and Brent Hines out there side smoking. I walked upstairs, and Pike was just sitting at the top of the stairs, just sitting there like that. And, hey, man, how's it going? Yeah, cool, man. I got some towels, you know. Oh, that's cool, man. I sweat like a motherfucker. So it was like...
Did he have the mustache at the time?
No, he didn't, man. He was
Yeah.
like... yeah, that night
That was awesome.
was something. I still
Good
got
memory.
like old Kodiak. Was it Kodiak or Kodak?
Kodak.
Kodak disposable camera.
Kodiak's in Alaska.
Photos
that sounds
from
awesome.
that, man. But like Simon said, we had Clutch play here, and back in the day, the scene was we had some good
Yeah.
bands playing. Scissor Fight have played here, and
Oh God, yeah, that guts me that I missed. I
it
love
was
Scissor
superb,
Fight.
man. But yeah, I mean, but that's what I mean. Those bands never played here, and then when we were the age you boys are now, we were getting these bands in. So there's nothing to say that now. You will. That's what I say. You'll be that band that will attract those kind of bands down here.
Yeah.
Plus,
I think
there's something in the background. I'll show you off air, but there's a promoter who's coming to Swansea,
Ooh.
and
that sounds
things
exciting.
might be happening. I'm not going to say it on air now
Yeah.
because nothing's concrete, but we've had offers. I'll show you off air. So
Yeah. One thing that bugs me a little bit about Swansea music scene is just the sheer number of covers bands and shit that we get through the door. It's like like when I'm not going to pay £17.50 to see a Blink-182 covers band or
no, I rehearsed next to that.
Yeah,
And I know
we
you
have as
always
well.
can.
Cam,
boys
Cam,
really
it looks like
have
you're
a-
about to explode. Say,
I was going to go mental. I'm not going to swear. In Me played. I don't know what you guys' opinions are on In Me.
I could
I
never get
remember
into
him, but
them,
yeah,
man.
but go on.
I could never get into them.
Yeah.
Good reason. No good. Dave McPherson is a bad man who would, he would play.
Are you about to out him here now?
I'm not going to out him. No, because he's done nothing heinous. There's nothing to hang him for. But
That's a shame.
but he'd play a urinal if there was like someone like stood there to watch. Like he just turns up around 2,000 trees, doesn't he? Just play into people.
I-
Who just like
at least 5
Frig
times.
off,
I think.
Dave.
Please go away.
At least
Please
5
go
times
away.
we saw him.
But it was
Well,
like
we didn't see him, but we saw
22
him pop up on
quid
the
to go and
lineup.
see him, and in Me playing in
Bunkhouse?
The
In the
Bunkhouse.
Bunkhouse.
22 quid.
22 quid to go and see him.
And bear in mind, we saw Shellac in Cardiff for £18.
Who's going to the show? Who's the demographic? Like who's
Idiots.
16-year-olds, 16-year-old girls.
Seeing In Me? This like 2003.
I can barely remember him.
Exactly. They're not.
Yeah.
There's not worth
I
it.
remember I think I
remembering
was
the name.
Skaz or Kerrang once at 3 in the
They were very
morning,
much-
and
yeah,
that's
one of
it.
those bands,
Just makes me think what hideous price that they are charging for.
their
for-
tour
for-
packages,
yeah.
and whatever they're doing.
I mean, but you mentioned a really good thing there with the covers bands, because I'm not divided on it, but as in, if it's a covers band that's doing material that no longer is out and played, and they're doing it in a way, absolutely okay. So in defence of covers bands, there's a great covers band called London Calling, which is a Clash cover band. I'm never going to see the Clash, and they do a really good job, and that's the best it can be, right? So I'm on side with that. I'm also on side where you say like it's the Real Goners who are down here. They'll take lots of
My housemate's in the Real Guns.
Is that who's your housemate?
Daryl?
Sloan's, Mr. Sloan's, yeah.
Mr.
Darryl
Sloan's.
Tyne. They're great because they go up. They take songs that, I mean, I think the latest stuff they do is like Down by the Jetty by Dr. Feelgood, and it's like, oh my god, this is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, it's great, and there's a whole thing with them. What I don't like is, you get in certain people who will get up on stage and they will act as though they've written the material themselves, and they're like, come on everybody, you've heard this one, yeah, sex is on fire, and you're just like, and your heart sinks, and then you'll interact with them and they will literally carry on as...
Do you know what's worse than that?
Go on.
In terms of covers band,
We said it before.
We've had this before, but I haven't had this with these boys. You've got the covers on which you are referencing, which is absolutely right. And then the one thing that gets me is like, well, what songs do you do on my own? Well, why don't you do that? Because I don't want to. Oh, but they make money. No, yeah, prostitutes make money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the one thing that gets me more than a covers band is a covers band who solely do one artist. When you become a Band X cover band, when you become these
It's like
people.
the Faux Fighters.
The Faux Fighters.
Yes.
The Slipknot.
Speak Lyro
Slipknot.
UK.
Divided on this.
Yeah, but
No,
See-
because this is what I
Go
would
on,
go
go
for.
on, yeah.
I'll give you mine first.
Go on.
of course you are.
Absolutely. Because you've gone to an extent to learn your instrument. You've then gone to an extent to learn songs by your favourite band.
Yeah.
Take that as an influence. Even if you sound carbon copy, at least you've written your own stuff.
Yeah.
But when you're going, I play guitar in Pearl Jam UK. Now, therefore, I am Stone Gossard. Or I play guitar in Slipknot's a huge influence. I'm now in a Slipknot covers band, Slipknot. I now become Jim Root. No, you're not.
No, it's not the same.
You're not. Take your influences, man, but don't rip them off.
Where do you sit with a band like... I've seen Elvana. Seen them doing the circuit. Elvana, right? So it's a Nirvana's cover band,
In
right?
Elvis style?
With an
I've
Elvis
not seen them.
frontman.
That's funny.
Right, that's awesome. I would go and watch
I
it.
think
That's a novelty act.
It's a different- different thing.
There should,
Yeah.
if
No,
if there's a band that's going out that's playing material of a band that's no longer about because members are dead or whatever, they're not formed, absolutely I'm behind that because it breathes light into the material, and that's cool. It's, I think for me the crossover is where you're getting up and you're playing Valerie for the 37th time that year to, you know, drunk, you know, and it's just,
middle-aged menopausal women.
well, all right, you pick your demographic, but it is very frustrating then because you've probably had it as a musician, you've had it, I know I've had it, where, you know, someone say, oh, you're a musician, are you? Oh, I tell you what, saw a great band on the week, and you're like, oh, here we go, it was in
the guitar talk.
yeah, and then it becomes this sort of thing where it's just a covers band and it's all top 40 stuff, or they've done, oh look, we did that Lily Allen cover that she did, but she made it really sad by just putting it into a minor key. She took a really happy 80s song, put it in a minor key, and now it's really sad.
One thing that I've always, and he's heard this many a time, but I would rather create my music and someone go, I love that, it's the best thing I've heard, or someone go, that's the worst thing I ever heard. It made me want to kill myself. And someone going, it was all right. You know,
Definitely,
I want
yeah.
to Marmite someone. I call it Marmite. You know, where you
Yeah.
But
and I think you boys certainly do it. I think you certainly do it because
I
we've
can
played
imagine we
shows.
do.
I'm not going to name certain shows. We haven't done that many, but where I mean, I'm at the front. You know, when I see Dan in his vest, his braces, I'm ready to kick someone's teeth out. And when you boys are playing, and it's like we're all digging it. See people like, oh yeah, and then you could see some people. And I see it
What
worse
is
when I'm on
this?
stage and I look out and I see some people like,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
you know, can't deal it. But it's interesting, you know. And I think you boys are definitely a Marmite band. I don't think
happy to
anyone
be
goes, they were all right.
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
happy to
And
do
I
that.
mean
Yeah.
that in highest regard.
No,
Totally
yeah.
compliment, man.
Jack, you were saying that you've noticed it quite prevalent in Swansea with the fact there's a lot of covers bands. So you've been
Yeah.
in different parts of the UK. Is it quite a Swansea centric thing? Have you?
I don't know if it's particularly a Swansea thing. I was born in, well, I wasn't born in Chippenham, but I grew up in Chippenham, and there's just nothing happening there with music. Like you're either a pub band or you're nothing. You're going to Bristol.
Because you don't see it in Bristol. I never remember that. Like,
No.
I don't remember it in Keynsham even when I went to Keynsham.
I feel like if you were a covers band in Bristol,
you wouldn't live.
You would get shot down. You'd get shot down straight away.
Where would you play a show?
Exactly. When you get people with real artistic credit and merit, then why would you stand side by side with a band with real artistic merit?
Cam, I'll tell you where they play the shows. They play at the Goose and the Flyer on Gloucester Road, and then go a couple of 100 yards up and play at the Hope and Anchor on Gloucester, and then down to the John Cabot on the Gloucester Road. That's probably where you'd probably be able to play it in Bristol.
Like
That's about it.
A little pub tour of pub circuit in Bristol.
Gloucester Road Tour 2020.
Well, yeah, it's certainly one of those things. But it's just interesting to ask you because obviously you guys are doing quite a lot of gigs and you get to see different parts of the M4 corridor, as it were, in different parts of the UK. It's just nice to, well, not nice, but it's interesting to hear what Swansea is compared to other places, I suppose, from what you said. I mean, you guys are moving down here, so there must be some sort of pull.
I'm moving in to live with Jack soon.
Is Sloane's moving out, or
No,
Sloane's
He's
staying?
going to be there.
You met Sloane's?
I've known Sloane's, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Magic, baby.
He's
Gonna
good.
be
Yeah,
You've
we played with Iron Gosling.
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
Oh, is he in that band?
Yeah.
Not
brother
Darryl,
is-
his brother Ty.
Ty.
That's Iron Gosling.
Yeah,
Ty used to work in the spa up by me, and it was amazing because I'd go in and I'd be like wearing a punk t-shirt. I remember I used to love the Dropkick Murphys. I went in wearing a Dropkick Murphys like tracky top. It's like, dude, Dropkick Murphys. It's like, what? What? And he's like the most animated like punk enthusiast behind the counter of a spa. It was beautiful,
Amazing.
man. Ty's
Love
cool, good boy.
Yeah.
But so you're moving in
I'm moving in.
to
Yeah.
the House of Fun.
The House of Fun, yeah, it's going to be good.
But I mean, so
And this is in
Sketty, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we're literally like round the corner.
literally
me.
stone's throw.
From me.
Depending on how big the stone is.
So we'll.
No, it'd be good.
Definitely.
I'm really excited.
down for it.
Absolutely.
Hook up, man,
Yeah,
for a few
for
beers.
sure. It'd be awesome.
so
I'm looking forward
it's
to it.
woven a spell on you, the place.
I lived here for 5 years during uni and
Yeah.
stuff, and then became friends with Jack and our friend Reese, who. So I went to a show in Newport to see a band I grew up listening to called The Decoy, who I really really loved. And Brokers, Jack's old band, and Reese's old band were supporting him. I just got chatting to him that night because I really enjoyed the music, and then we just started hanging out and stuff. And then here we are. Reese and Jack did a band
Going
called
to shows, going to 2000 Treasons.
yeah, just hanging out.
Yeah.
Reese then joined a band called Dream State, who are doing really well at the minute. Who since took me out on tour. I'm grateful to have gone with them and stuff. Shout out to Reese.
Yeah.
And
But I don't think Only Fools would have been born without Reese because we
they wouldn't
started
have
a band called Tied
Tied
Hands,
Hands, yeah.
which never really took off because Reese sort of was drawn more to Dream State,
doing
which
Dream State
it
then.
took a bit more of his time. But
Yeah.
but Cam and I started to jam.
So what about Only Fools and Corpses? Why that name?
I was sat on it for years because I grew up watching Only Fools and Horses.
Yeah.
And I was waiting for a band to use Only Fools and Corpses with. Originally, I approached Jack. I remember the message I sent you when I was walking home from uni about I wanted to see if Jack wanted to write the drums for a. Do you know a band called Down I Go? Have you heard of Down
Yeah,
I
I
Go?
know. What's it called? Dino Core.
Dino Core,
there's,
yeah. Disaster Core.
Disaster Core.
Yeah.
Sorry to go on it. That's I don't want to stop the story, but I was
Yeah, go
literally 2 nights ago. I saw it on my shelf, and there's the first track on Disaster Core, and it's about the earthquake in China, and it's got the best break where it goes, "Oh my God, everybody's dead!"
Yeah, it's awesome.
I know we shouldn't laugh at it.
No, it's amazing.
And what's the track on Tyrant, Thomas Torquemada, and
there's
that's
a few tunes on that. Yeah, dark.
I
but-
messaged, I think it was the bass player when they went off to Iceland, or was it Sweden to record?
Alan or
That rings a bell.
Pete.
Because I was getting a T-shirt and the album,
Yeah,
so you
yeah,
could
all that
personal
stuff.
message
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, look, I'm really sorry to bother you." No problem. I said, "Look,
Yeah.
have you got a copy of Dino Core on CD? Because I'm desperate for it."
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, we don't. I don't, mate. I'm really sorry."
yeah.
But, okay, so you're saying about Dino Go?
Interestingly, I'm
Yeah.
in contact with that band. I'm the only. I'm the person who's tabbing out all of their albums. I'm their only fan, number one, and I'm tabbing out all their albums bit by bit.
I'm chuffed that you. It's so
I'm trying
nice
to
to
do
hear
it
that you.
because it's silly stuff. Some of it is crazy, but like, but
It's so good.
It's awesome. But it's quite muscular and weird the way Alan plays, and I've chatted to him a little bit about it, and we have a similar approach and mentality to playing. So I've been tabbing out that stuff. Anyway, I approached Jack with I wanted to make a story about a mining accident and like a themed like EP about a really heavy like mining accident, just like
Yeah.
So that's how it started.
The first stuff that we started playing about was
really
heavy.
It was really heavy.
It was really heavy.
And then it went into the post-punk slinty stuff, and but with a name.
But then that's, you say really heavy, the post-punk stuff, and then it's come together, and then he's Only Fools and Corpses, all right?
To an extent, yeah.
In an extreme nutshell.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it pretty much is. Yeah.
We sort of describe ourselves as post-hardcore / punky.
I would say it's in post-hardcore myself.
Yeah.
But then that's a bit of a weird.
I'd say you're better than post-hardcore.
Yeah. I know, but this is it. Because it gets
I'd
people's
always-
backs up when I put not backs up. But
I know.
Post-hardcore's got a sticky label.
I described
to it,
you
and
boys since the original Black Flag reference.
Yeah.
I described you to one of the boys. Oh, what they like, and I said they're either noise rock influenced punk
Yeah.
or punk influenced noise rock.
Yeah, that's a fair. That is fair. It's really. I don't.
And that's
Yeah.
not
I don't know what
disparaging.
to. No.
And that's my favourite genre.
Yeah.
Have you heard of a noisy band called Mets?
Yeah, no mates.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Oh, well, there we go.
sweet.
Sick.
Yeah,
Chris is wearing a Mets t-shirt.
yeah.
I'm
So,
not
so
sure.
Mets is a big influence for me. The drumming in Mets is just insane.
Absolutely superb.
Yeah, insane.
I love it. I love it.
I'm wearing Thursday, so a big love for Thursday.
But no, Mets man is when we went up and we saw the Sumac Baptist show.
Oh yeah.
I was talking to the guys from Baptist, and they were like, "Is that a Mets shirt? The Canadian." Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
Mets is a
cool.
huge.
Yeah, I'm glad you like them. That's
Oh,
really cool.
Love them.
But not you don't bump into many people that like Mets.
No,
very
well, you know,
often.
I think
throw
I'm the
my
only
chest.
person
Really
in the
cool.
band who likes Thursday as well.
That's fine. I mean,
Yeah,
Thursday,
quite like Thursday.
yeah,
Yeah,
they're
sorry, that went straight over my head.
No.
So you
I
were
didn't
talking
actually
about
know.
Mets. You talking about Mets.
That War All the Time. album.
yeah, that's perfect.
I love it. Yeah.
Understanding
the car crash.
Oh my god!
Awesome.
What's the one about his brother? He lies. I can't remember. The one where it's an allegory. The video's an allegory for Kafka's Metamorphosis.
Yeah.
which is amazing. He lies when he opens his mouth. It's just like it's so, but it's really visceral in that sense. But there's War All the Time. There's a break in that. That's what kind of draws me to some of the emo stuff in the poster. It's like the making copies of copies. It's just like that build up. But he's definitely. Which came first? Did that come? I don't want to say, because there's a bit of First Light, Last Light in that. Maybe that's why I like that song so much, because that was the track that really first cemented my love of Converge, because I got You Fail Me.
Yeah, it's my favourite Converge album, You Fail Me.
Listen to it. Well, Hanging Moon's my favourite song by him. Love it. But we got to the listening to that, and I'd listen to a lot of heavy, shouty, screamy, and then when you get to Jacob Bannon going, this is for the heart's still beating, and then he goes Rottweiler mode.
Yeah,
and you can't believe he's screaming at that. It's just absolutely. It's a. Oh, it's okay. It's a bit of a kerfuffle on the table there from our friends at Only Fools and Corpses. Table Kerfuffle, the new album by Only Fools and Corpses.
I want to know what you were going to say about Mets, though. You brought up Mets.
Oh, just a big inspiration.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just the noise.
Yeah.
There's a video of them playing Wet Blanket in like the French.
With his goggles on.
Yeah. So he's got. Sorry.
It's in Toulouse, in France.
Yeah, I think so. It's they extend it, and they've got
Black
this
and
break
white.
in the middle. It's like
Yeah.
dung 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 dung, and it's like.
Because the bass player did the tour with Daughters.
Yeah. So we saw them.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, it was really.
What
cool.
was that? What was it like to watch? So this is the most recent Daughters
playing
tour.
in the Exchange.
What was that like? Because
Intense.
Really? 'Cause
Oh
I've heard-
yeah.
Stripped down at the end, and Alexis, he had his belt off, and it was the end of is it Ocean Song?
Yeah,
or Guess
Ocean.
Ocean Song.
I can't remember.
No, Ocean Song. Definitely, there was
Was
an
it
ocean
Ocean Song?
beyond the waves.
Yeah.
And he's up on the PA stack, looking into the audience and whipping himself with the belt as he's like saying, "There's an ocean beyond the waves."
And the guitars were just ringing out.
Oh,
it was just
it was
pure
intense.
noise. It was just noise.
It was great. I really enjoyed it. Very strange crowd. real strange crowd.
Were they not interacting? Were they just standing there like an art expo?
People went absolutely mental, but I just mean the demographics and stuff. There was a, I don't know.
Not the weirdest crowd I've been in.
No, not the weirdest crowd I've been in, but
Black Midi was probably one of the strangest.
Black Midi was weird.
Is it Big John or Big Al? Was the guy who always goes?
Big Jeff.
Big Jeff.
Was he there?
Big Jeff.
Definitely.
Yeah,
he was
I think
adorable.
Big Jeff was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like whenever
I
go to a show in Bristol and I see Big Jeff, I'm like, it's a Big Jeff certified show.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy.
I played a gig with one of my really small bands in Bristol, and he turned up. I was over the moon. Yeah, that was
That's
at Louisiana when I was in the Phantom Light. He was there.
I love the Louisiana. It's a great venue.
That's where I did like the first little bit of sound engineering was there, and it was just amazing. It was there in the cooler.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, going full circle back to, so that must have been quite intense, because that album, we've talked about it kind of on and off air. I mean, I haven't clicked with it, but you guys have clicked with it. So those shows were, they were constantly coming up on different sort of news feeds on Facebook. Oh my God, this was incredible, that you've got to see Daughters on this tour. So it was everything that you...
It's like
it was.
Anthony Fantano. Do you know Anthony Fantano? The
Needle Drop.
The Needle Drop on YouTube.
Oh yeah, no, I have an interesting relationship with him.
Some people like him, some people hate him. But he gave it a perfect 10.
Yeah.
I don't agree with a lot of his reviews at times.
Yeah, I'm the same. I see them as just...
It's nice. He covers so many
to hear what
insight.
he thinks.
I think that's a lot of people. The general consumer's problem is they take things too to heart.
It's like read
people
a
in general just
review
like,
and take it as gospel.
God damn, just make your own opinion on something. It's not like because this person doesn't like it doesn't mean you don't have to like it.
Yeah,
and you can't still be pals and chat about stuff. It's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, I did part of my degree was music journalism.
Oh God,
so I did a lot of only a part of it.
No.
I did. I know what it's like to be reviews and to review, and I would never force. I would say what I believe. Yeah, but I'm not going to make you listen to.
No, you're not the authority on what that person should like.
Everything, and then it doesn't become special.
Yeah, exactly. I think the idea of a real piece of journalism on music is to either, it's just to say whether something is really good in your eyes, and some things that speak out about the music to you, and that might draw someone to listen to it. Even if you say it's shit, that might make someone want to listen to it.
Yeah, I agree. And I rather the interviews where they ask how you create, ask the artist how they create, as opposed to the lyrical themes and what's your message and all that. Yeah. It's like, so then person X can make an opinion, listen to it. Listen to it.
I can honestly say that I have not read or bought anything from any of the. What would if your auntie went to buy you a magazine? I haven't read anything from Kerrang or
why would you?
It just because that's a whole other tangent, but it's
pay to be there.
Cam, can you say this or do you want me to stop?
No,
okay. Cam, go ahead. You have the floor, sir.
I don't care.
Go for it, Cam. What? I didn't know about this.
Not that I know anyone personally who does it, but there are a crop of bands which are invested in, and there's money behind them, and there is. They're there to sell. It is a marketing exercise for somebody who is
the same marketing tool as you would do a pop band.
It's the same as anything.
Smash hits for metal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Metal Hammer, Kerrang.
Yeah.
Rock Sound. Any of the people on the front covers.
Used to be a really cool band. The amount of underground bands.
No, I agree with that.
Used to be in Rock Sound. And I have a friend who was the head, a live and album review editor.
Was that Tim Badcup?
No, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what.
Okay.
And she introduced me to a hell of a lot of music.
Yeah.
And she left, a few others left for whatever reason. And it started becoming more... And I used to pick it up and have a flick through it.
Yeah.
And I thought, my God, Rock Sound is become Kerrang.
Yeah. There's
and now I see Kerrang. I opened it up. Yeah, I picked it up and I opened it up randomly. First thing I saw, top 5 Mako tips for emos.
Yeah, I know.
How long ago was this?
this was about 10 years ago. Last time I played the Kerrang, I was sick of my own mouth.
It's disgusting because there's a.
He's right, man.
I don't know why. I don't know why I even want to be involved in it at all, like doing music and stuff, because the way that you make it and stuff, and the way that the money is geared towards in the industry is absolutely diabolical. It's insane.
It's prostitution.
It is. It's crazy. I don't like that. You know, you got to look a certain way, and then you don't have control over what you do.
And that's when I love it, when you have people who don't understand it, don't come from the scene, and they're like, oh, why don't you play here?
Now,
oh, why don't you do this cover?
You couldn't if you wanted.
Because I've got integrity.
Yeah.
there's one magazine which we've mentioned 2 or 3 times, so it won't be that hard to guess. But I was an avid consumer of it when it used to have the old logo, and then I remember one day all of a sudden, that's it. Then all of a sudden one day the logo changed, and it was like all the bands that I really liked. They went to this week we're talking about Symposium, and next week it'll be Midget, and then possibly Tampasm. Oh, and by the and Terrorvision.
Yeah.
And there was a mass amount of Terrorvision.
Yeah, it was
in the early 2000s.
Yeah, Terrorvision, Symposium, Midget, Idlewild, who I love. I will hold the first
Placebo.
First 2 Idlewild albums are brilliant, and the EP's fantastic. I love the other stuff as well, but that's just my little thing. I just think they're a very good band. 100 Broken Windows is a really good damn record.
What was that other band that they always used to blow smoke up their ass?
Curb Dog?
No.
Curb Dog they used to go on about loads.
100 Reasons.
Yeah, 100 Reasons, yeah.
They did a headline set at Trees the other year.
Oh dear. But then all of a sudden, round about 2001, 2003, it was Slipknot, Mudvayne, and then Deftones possibly, bit of Kudos, and it always, but now it seems like they're really hammering on Converge's door all of a sudden, because I've yeah there've been a couple of times where I've seen things, because I follow Converge on Facebook. Who wouldn't? You'd be mental not to. And like, you know, Jacob's a really gracious, humble guy, so he's thanking the different magazines and stuff, and I'm like, hang on a minute, these guys have been and so it's no disrespect, it's just a bit of a weird one to go around, so it's no disrespect to Converge in any shape, form or way, but it's like I'm always a bit sort of like, what are you guys up to now? What are you doing? What nefarious activity? Because I always remember that being really shocked. It went from Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer, and then all of a sudden,
That's
like I
all
said,
it was.
television.
Yeah.
Have you seen like the online awards and stuff they do at Kerrang, where it was like the other year it was like best live act, and it was like Metallica.
Best drummer was Lars Ulrich, probably, was it?
I don't know, but it was just like what?
No.
Yeah.
Why are these guys up for nomination? Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah.
That's the problem. The new stuff that is coming through is not genuine or
It's paid
doing
for.
anything different. It's insane. And then people hark back to the glory days of what music was, and you've still got these bands like Iron Maiden and Metallica still pulling headliners and stuff. And it's like, what? As respected and revered as those bands are, I'm not going to knock them at all. Like, still being in the game is insane. It's awesome. But there's got to be a new crop somewhere that's coming from something genuine that is not trying to make it. That's trying to do something good.
Yeah, there seems to be this wave of bands that are coming through, and they're all support acts, and they've got in-ears and a backing track. And it's phony.
What,
like
Don Bronco?
Yeah.
Whatever they're called.
Everything from that wave, like
Twin Atlantic.
Oh, God.
everything that comes from that
And
wave.
that's
People just want to be there, and they want to be this
Straight away.
this picture
Like, let's do
perfect
this.
band,
Yeah.
because they're like, oh, we'll get picked up now.
No.
But chances are you'll get picked
that's
up on
always
it.
been the same, though. I mean,
Yeah, I guess so.
when I was
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
those
But that's not
bands, I mean, I was slightly ahead of before this. When I got into heavy music, there was there was heavy music, and you had various styles, but you didn't have you had subgenres, but you didn't have the main one. And then all of a sudden, I remember in like 99, 2000, you had like Neurosis releasing Times of Grace, untouchable.
Yeah.
And then next to them on the Kerrang CD was a brand new band with a song called Eyeless, and it was Slipknot.
Yeah. Great.
I know. You want to compare them to? I'm like,
Yeah.
But you listen to Slipknot, and there's certain songs which are decent songs.
I still think the first album you can't really knock.
Maybe so.
Maybe Iowa as well. I don't
Okay,
like Iowa.
yeah, I'm not going to argue with you because I'm not of that generation.
No, fair enough. Yeah.
But there's certain songs off the first album which are, you could probably get through them. But I still don't believe. I think Slipknot, for example, were the Millennium generation's Kiss. You would not have got as big as you were without the masks.
Gimmick.
The gimmick.
No, well, you take the masks away and they're not that heavy either.
No, but
really.
you look at them now.
Stone Sour.
The older they've got and the new stuff, man. And there's a bit more musicianship I hear. But then you look at the new metal thing, and you had like Limp Bizkit.
That's coming back
Mudhoney.
round as well.
New metal seems to be
No.
making a
Back.
resurgence.
New metal's
Yeah.
back.
How?
In a big way.
It's in
And that's
these
my
bands.
Where?
Yeah,
in scene bands,
And
in
this is it.
Krang,
And this is
stuff
good.
like that.
New
Look at it.
metal.
New metal
Yeah.
is back.
New metal is
Now
back.
let's go
Back.
back. Let's go back. Let's rewind to the start of the intro. I was saying
God.
to you of the underground.
It's
That
disgusting and
that
it's
new,
terrible.
that's the generation now who've grown up and they listen to band whatever. What are they influenced by? Well, this band, Proverb the Noun or whatever we'll call them.
Prophet.
Verb the Noun. Are influenced by Slipknot. They're influenced by Mudvayne. They're
Yeah.
influenced by these
Korn.
bands. Korn. So let's listen to them.
God.
When I was growing up,
Stained.
and I was listening to, I got in. Yeah,
Stop saying bands that make me want to cry.
but you,
OPM.
OPM.
yeah, but you.
Sorry.
But
Chris,
my
yeah.
point is that when I was growing up and I was listening to like I Hate God, let's say I Hate God, okay? Oh, we're influenced by Black Sabbath, Lynyrd Skynyrd, Black Flag,
Yeah.
Minor Threat, Graveyard Rodeo. Let's check these bands out.
Yeah.
So now this new generation are listening to new bands who 'cause let's not forget, like Slipknot new metal are 20 years old.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
know?
Totally.
So like
They
there's
are
going to be
someone's
influence
classic
some
now,
bands. So
yeah.
some bands, like, I don't know what this. I saw some Marilyn Manson looking wannabes the other day. I thought, oh, God, what?
Black Veil Brides.
Yeah, that's them.
Oh, they're dead though. They're gone.
And I again, for the third time in this podcast, I was sick in my own mouth. And but I understood that they took influence from these bands. So,
Yeah, that's it.
so to your point, like, why
Yeah.
is new metal coming back
No,
on
no.
again?
It's
because
logical.
people
I can't believe
are
that.
reading. They don't. I mean,
Back.
back in the day, you used
North.
to pick up a thing and read the thanks list. You
North Lane.
Who?
There's a band called North Lane.
never heard of them.
I was
Not
subjected
my
to
bag.
some of that.
Not my
Is
bag.
it? Have they brought back mixing into like scratching and all that sort of that
Not
kind
so
of
much
There's
new?
only one band
scratching.
who ever used scratching well, and they use it as an influence, an instrument.
Incubus.
And it was no.
Well, you said that.
And but no, it was they had a scratch. They had a deck, and it was linked to a synth, and it was used as an instrument, as you would use the guitar or bass, and it was used for pure atmosphere, and that was the Deftones. And Deftones played it, and then all of a sudden everyone did it. But say what you want, man. And Sid Wilson from Slipknot, one of the best DJs I have ever seen.
Sir, I think you'll find I need to correct you on that. Anthrax were there a long time before.
No,
Yes, they were.
No, because they
they
brought in
They did it on I Am the Man, and they also did it in the collab they did with Public Enemy, Bring the Noise.
but they didn't, did they? They didn't.
It's beautiful. That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
but they didn't, though, did they?
I love Anthrax.
They did.
Watch it now.
Okay.
I love them still to this
No.
day.
Terrible band.
No, they're not. What?
Oh, let's not start this.
No, but
Dude.
my point is, they didn't, did they? Public Enemy had that. And
Oh,
they
yeah,
brought
yeah,
Public
yeah.
Enemy.
No, I
But to
know.
use the turntable without a vinyl on it and put the needle on and mix the reverb and just make a sound.
But one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard is the acoustic version on the B-sides, the Deftones, Be Quiet and Drive Far Away. It is
Yeah, it's
absolutely
amazing. That's
heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And it is.
And they did a cover of one song that should never be covered.
What? Who's going to drive you home by the
Simple Man.
cars?
Yeah, it's great.
Absolutely.
Who
brilliant.
did they cover?
Simple Man. by
Simple
Lynyrd
Man,
Skynyrd.
Lynyrd Skynyrd.
Did they?
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Check
yeah.
it
I
out.
knew that,
Deftones
um,
Simple Man is.
Shinedown did a cover.
That one's gonna be bad.
I don't remember Shine Down.
It's still going. Shine Down is still there.
Our
They're-
Theory
with
of
the
a Dead
Blackstone-
Man still going. Spine
no.
Spine
like-
Shank, are they still a thing?
I thought Theory of Dead Man was
I
on
found out
Jack Kroger's
Static
label,
X are
wasn't it?
still going.
Static
They
X is still
are,
going.
But Wayne Static's
It's
dead.
dead.
Yeah.
So
still
it's
doing
just
it.
X.
I know a guy who was sound engineer for them.
Oh my
Still
god.
going.
Well, the X are quite good.
Different.
Different.
Yeah,
no,
I know.
yeah.
You take away the
Yeah,
static, you've got the X.
Well, let's
yeah.
bring it back in. Let's bring it back in.
No, I want to talk about really obscure crap bands like Amen, Head PE,
No.
PE.
Let's stop that.
God.
Amen. are
Coal
superb.
Chamber.
Amen. are
No,
absolutely
go on, hit me with it.
The first they came out, and they were signed to Roadrunner, and they signed to Ross Robinson, who was a new metal producer on a new metal, what became a new metal label. At
The best I think you'll find.
Amen. Their first album, self-titled, is absolutely superb. We Have Come for Your Parents is absolutely superb. They just came out when new metal was just everywhere, and they're not new metal.
I think this
I
conversation.
know, but you listen to Amen,
No, I will.
and
Then you go and listen to Anthrax. Then
no, I've heard Anthrax. I
John Bush era.
yeah, it's Anthrax. You know, it's like, why would you listen to Anthrax when you listen to Slayer? You know what I mean?
All I know is my jeans are turning into the jorts and like got a chain on the side of my trousers.
Yes,
All this new
exactly.
metal.
No, and this is all banter, but no, my point was Amen are great, man. I wouldn't even call them new metal. They're not. They're
Wednesday 13.
Oh,
They're just gonna keep coming.
No. But what's worrying about this is that you've probably bought an album.
The
or two.
worst thing I ever did was I went to watch one band after buying one of their albums and being convinced to go watch them. And it wasn't Jimmy Eat World. No. Jimmy Eat World I enjoyed. I enjoyed Jimmy Eat World, actually. They were really damn good, to be fair to them. It was after Bleed American had just come out. It was a really damn
bet
good
they were
gig.
good at that point.
It was amazing. It literally blow the barn doors off. It was fantastic.
What was his name?
Nickelback. I went to watch Nickelback at Wolverhampton Civic Centre with my mate Elliot, who was from Dudley. He was a massive fan, and I said, "Yeah, sure, no problem." With it. And it was everything nightmarish you could imagine
Did
it
they
to
have
be.
pyro?
No, they didn't. They literally just done How You Remind Me on Silver Side Up, which I think I find is their third album.
So we were talking about
I'm embarrassed.
getting Only Fools and Corpses on, and looking forward to getting into the nitty gritty of Only Fools and Corpses and the music. And you've spewed Nickelback.
What? Well, I got nothing to hide. I've got, if you.
I've just been sick of my own mouth again.
Yeah, it was awful. I'm not going to say it was good. It was probably one of the worst gigs I've ever been to.
But going back to your boys' band, I know I can't speak for many people, but I can speak for the boys in the band in mind, and we are looking forward to doing something again with you boys.
Yeah, be good.
Hopefully we'll do countless shows, and hopefully at least a split EP or something. But,
Yeah, it'd be awesome.
I think
really
we got
We definitely got stuff in
two
there,
songs that would be
Yeah, so
very good for a split. Yeah,
yeah,
I think they would.
cool.
Yeah.
I think they would suit very well on a.
But what
something
have you
like
got
that.
coming up then? Coming up, with this 2020. What have you got coming up? In immediate.
We were due to record in March of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
We were due to record one single.
Yeah.
But obviously I broke my wrist, and that set us back. And we just wanted to play. By the time I was back, drumming, and we did, and we've written a lot of songs that we probably wouldn't have written if I hadn't broken my wrist.
Yeah.
Probably some heavier stuff and some more
Weird
angular,
stuff. Yeah, weird
stuff. And yeah, so I'm really grateful for where we are. But yeah, we're gonna record.
Well, I'm really grateful for you as well.
Cheers.
Where can people check you out if they want to sort of listen to some more Only Fools and Corpses or check?
Well, right now we've only got one song, so if you YouTube Only Fools and Corpses or look for us on Spotify, you'll find us. Our Instagram handle is OFandC. We're going to be recording next month and hopefully have an EP out within the first half of this year with a couple of videos as well. Looking to get in contact with a guy in Swansea who presses vinyl and get a limited run done of them.
I know who you are. Yeah.
And we've been kind of adopted by the South Wales hardcore scene as well a bit. They've been really nice to us. There's a label in Cardiff, a Nuclear Family, who've been
I know them.
really, really friendly. had us on a couple of shows and all days they've done. And I know there's a couple of guys within there, including Sonny from Death Clock, who's quite interested to do some. I think it's Death Clock.
Yeah, that's Death Clock.
Death Clock. Yeah, he's do some tapes maybe, just as like a.
Who and art wise, have you got any kind of imagery in mind, or are you gonna?
We
sort of do a lot of our own, but we've got an image lined up for an
from
EP
a photographer that we know that we'd like to use. Not setting a name for it yet, I don't think. Really, we haven't really talked about that in a long time. And then just shows for the foreseeable future. We're in Cardiff. Well, you would have missed it, but we were in Newport on the 31st.
Sorry.
Sorry.
You're a busy schedule.
We're on
5th of February in Cardiff.
Yeah,
Porters.
11th of Feb, Exchange Basement headline show, and then we're really
27th.
excited for the 27th of February. We're playing with a band called Disjoy in Cardiff in Catay's Community
That's
Centre.
Ian's band, right?
I don't know.
Ian, the drummer for Disjoy, I think.
Okay.
With a guy called Ben and
Who was the drummer in Death of Money? I'm sure Ian.
That's
played in
Jim
Disjoy.
Bob's band. He's in Death of the.
No, he just filled in for 2 shows.
I think we're stoked to play this one because it's sort of like a DIY
It's a community
practice room. It's a
centre, isn't it?
small.
yeah.
Yeah,
Small
so we're
practice
in the
room
practice
there.
rooms.
Oh, okay.
So it's going to be small. It's going to be sweaty. It's going to be
Packed
fun.
and same level, which is what we're really excited to do.
It's exactly what.
That's what I prefer.
Yeah.
In your
it's
face.
so much fun.
Yeah,
it's
I
way
prefer
more
in your
fun.
face, man.
And we're better at floor level too.
Yeah. No,
It's weird seeing like when
preaching to the converted, man.
Yeah, when we were on the stage in Sin City, and we were like Dan and Cam were 20 foot apart.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Yeah.
But it's quite
Fell
a
as soon as I
short,
got on.
flat stage, isn't
Yeah.
it? Like it's short.
We did a gig 2 weeks after that in Cinema and Co. And we and we were on the floor in your face, and I prefer that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
see,
a lot of fun.
I'd love to
It's a
play
lot of fun.
Cinema and Co.
Yeah,
one day.
Yeah.
But
Maybe we'll have to line that one like that up.
well, we know people who know people. We sort something out, no
Sounds
doubt.
good to me.
But listen, boys. As sad as it is, we're gonna have to wrap this up.
Yeah.
No problem.
Thank you.
It's been lovely.
Since we started this, I've said to Simon, you need to check you boys out, and
I did on the way over.
we did. And
on the bus.
I wanted to get you on here from day one, so I'm chuffed that we got you on here.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
Hopefully,
much.
you boys will come back
And
again.
Thank
Yeah,
you
I'd
for
love to.
thank you for really taking part in the spirit of things
Yeah.
as well. It's really been really rewarding.
Refreshing.
So in the Time on tradition, it's good night from me.
Not quite yet.
Not yet.
Because
Okay,
if
go on.
anyone wants to follow you on social media,
Yeah.
what are your handles?
It's Only Fools and Corpses Crew, CRU,
Yeah, and that's it.
on
On Facebook.
Facebook. We don't have Twitter.
Who needs that?
No one needs that.
Instagram.
Instagram, OF and C.
Mm-hmm. I'm on Bandcamp as well. If you Google Only Fools and Corpses, I did it the other day. It's us, which is great for the first page. It's all us, so
Love that,
you'll get
man.
us. Yeah.
Great, guys. Now you can do it.
Okay. Thanks, Dad. So in the Time on tradition, we always sort of end it with so it's good night from me.
Au revoir.
Cheers.